With that, I'll call our meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. And I'll start by acknowledging that we are gathered on Treaty 6 lands, a part of the many traditional territories of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis in Alberta. The town of Drayton Valley is grateful for the knowledge keepers and elders and the stories and teachings that they share of these lands and its people. I will now ask everybody, including Mr. Hamden, to stand for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. Cattle si porti Sense we stand on Canada, we stand on stand on.
Do you have any additions to the agenda this morning?
Administration has no additions.
Is there a member of council that would like to adopt the agenda for October 18th, 2023 regular council minutes as presented? Councillor Gamana, all in favor? That is carried. Any corrections or amendments to October 4th, 2023 regular meeting of council minutes? I did see in the minutes that, just scrolling down to when we defeated several of those motions, if you look at the second resolution number 222-2023, it says defeated 2-4, and that should be defeated 3-3. And I do not remember who was against and who was for. Does anyone recall? That's the second one. That was for when we talked about the snow removal 9.3 policy amendment. Yeah, it should be 3-3. And then I can't remember who was in favor and who was against for that one. No, we defeated all three, so then it
Yeah, it
reverted
was-
back to the original.
I remember it was.
Isn't it 3-3 all through? Option 1 was 3-3, option 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so option 3 was the 2-4, and then the option 2 was the 3-3.
Correct.
Okay, that was the tough one there. And for other corrections, Councillor McGee?
I note that we don't see a report from Councillor Ballas and Councillor Gamana. Is that because maybe you were away during that report time?
For the council meeting? Oh,
Okay. So it's correct. We don't have reports from them. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so there are no corrections then. It was a long meeting, it's hard to remember. Okay, is there a member of council that'd like to adopt the October 4th, 2023 regular meeting of council minutes? Councillor McGee, all in favor? That is carried. We have no proclamations, no public hearings this morning. We have two delegations. Our first delegation is council recognition. We have Mr. Mo Hampton here this morning joining us, and I am very excited to be recognizing you this morning. Thank you very much for coming. You're no stranger to these council chambers. We just finished talking about the lovely paneling that we still are boasting in this beautiful council chambers, still to this day in 2023. Mo was first elected to town council in 1989 and continued to serve in that role until 1998. That same year he was elected to his first term as mayor, Mo served 2 more terms as mayor before taking a break from politics. He couldn't stay away for too long and was acclaimed as mayor back in 2008, and he went on to serve his 4th term as mayor in 2010. Mo retired from municipal politics in October 2013 to focus more on business and his family. During his time on council, Mo was always sure to listen to the information and the opinions of those around him and then moved forward on what he believed was the best for the community. His passion for our community has always been about pulling together and always putting the community first. Mo has been instrumental in shaping the community and the economy of Drayton Valley into what it is today, whether it be through his political influence and the establishment of pro-development bylaws and policies, or through his own developments and business acquisitions. His accomplishments while on council are many. One of his greatest achievements was the establishment of the BioMile and the development of the Clean Energy Technology Center. This raised the profile of Drayton Valley to ensure the wider world is aware of what we have to offer, while also preparing our community for future development. Mo had the foresight and the vision to create a training and education center right here in Drayton Valley to prepare a skilled labor force that would feed the needs of the business community. And in 2023, we are still building on this vision through our post-secondary education initiatives and our zero-fee tuition program that supports our local students. Over the years, Mo has owned and operated many businesses in the community, and you have also developed commercial and retail complexes in Drayton Valley, including the Derrick Mall, which is now independent grocery store and commercial village. These developments have created retail spaces for our local entrepreneurs to open businesses and to bring popular franchises to the community. These have in turn created jobs for our residents. Mo has been a longtime resident in Drayton Valley, having moved here with his family at the age of 4. Growing up, his parents owned the local grocery store Blocks, and Mo learned the value of hard work and honesty working in the store from an early age, and everyone that worked for the Hampton family was treated like family. I myself was part of this family. As a teenager, it was one of my first jobs, and I was very, very excited and proud to have that memory. After graduating from university, Mo moved back to the community where he and his lovely wife, Rabah, raised their 4 children. Mo has followed in his father Hampton's footsteps of business ownership and building a community. And like many of us, he has raised the next generation of business owners and entrepreneurs right here in Drayton Valley. Mo is passionate about recreation and fitness and is the owner of our local Anytime Fitness, and he's opened up gyms in other community as well. When Mo isn't working, you can usually find him at the gym, playing hockey or mentoring the next business owner. We've asked you here today to formally recognize you for the years of dedicated service to our community, for your leadership, for your foresight, for your progressive business acumen, and for everything that you've done for our community. Thank you for everything that you and the Hampton family have done for our community, the guidance that you have provided us along the way. And we'd love to get a little picture with you. Go down here. Bring it, yeah.
By the way, the mayor actually doesn't really have people, but I don't. Short, so. He's not hiring me, I'm hiring him. Yes.
You're not from the hire.
Better than usual in this picture.
Congratulations, thank you very much, and thank you for your wisdom and your leadership and everything that you brought to our community, you and your family. Yeah, yeah. You know, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got some house issues now to deal with. Thanks, Mo, and bring me that picture, or you're more than welcome to stay and reminisce with us as well. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming and thank you for everything you do again. Our next delegation this morning is Drake's Handy Bus. Good morning and welcome. So you can come to the podium, or if you'd like to sit at the chair, however you feel more comfortable, you're more than welcome to come down and stand, or we'll just ensure that the mic is on for you.
So I think when Lola asked us to come, she wanted us to kind of give a brief overview of the operation of Drake's for the last, I guess it's coming up 3 years. And we thank the town of Drayton Valley for the contribution that they've given to Drake's every year. That's your top line item of $25,000. Amy will talk a little bit about some of the sponsorship and the donations in kind.
So to date, in the last 6 weeks, we've had 5294 donated of in-kind donations. Some of our, we've worked really hard over the last 3 years to get as many donations as possible from our community to help us run the system, run Drake's, between insurance, maintenance that's got to be done every 6 months. We kind of depend on the donations that come from our community. But as we all know, some of the businesses are no longer here anymore, and it takes a little bit more time. So I do all the marketing and funding. Absolute is doing the CVIP complimentary.
Just a couple things that we didn't put on there last night, like the list, and then there's additional ones here, so.
OK Tire is always donated the tires for the bus. He stores them there and swaps them out summer and winter so that we're not burning rubber off all the time. That's always been donated, and as well as any maintenance that needs to be done. Let's see, what else do we got? That's about it.
So for all of you that are unfamiliar with Drake, Sam Hill from, she's had several school buses and run school buses for years. So Sam Hill does the driving and supplies the drivers. And without her, this wouldn't work. Okay, she keeps it running. She makes sure there's drivers. There has been a complaint that one day at 3:30 at last minute, someone called for a bus. She was unable to supply a bus. It's not that she couldn't supply a bus, it's that she couldn't at 3:30 in the afternoon on late notice get a bus driver, because she uses bus drivers to operate Drake's. She couldn't get a driver. And I don't know if you're all in business, but I'm in business, and right now labor is our biggest issue. And I've been preaching this since 2008, for any of you that know me, that labor is going to be an issue in the future, since 2008. So as Sam says, what Drake's is doing is building a reputation. She said she probably, you know, at least once a month, one of the passengers, so our future clientele has passed away. So it isn't clientele, it's a reputation. So when conditions require, all right, so we have money, all right, we've been donated money, but when conditions require, Sam is totally okay with a complimentary ride using some of the donated money if we did that transfer. We don't always do that actual transfer to take it out of this fund and put it in this fund as far as the accounting goes. But Amy's done all, you should talk about this, Amy, because Amy did all the work in this line of the people that have funded. She has done all the work, gone out there and asked, hey, can you give us a donation? Can you give us a donation? Can you give us a donation?
So it took us 3 years to raise enough funds to get the bus, first of all, and we did that through the hockey tournaments that we host annually to raise money for charities within Drayton Valley in our community. Whitecap Resources, Vermilion Energy, Ricochet, and our Life Support Society have been big contributors on the other side. And of course, the Lamplighters Events Group, the hockey tournament that we host, which we just did another one, and Drake's will be getting more money from them. Took us 3 years to get it. We needed some support for seniors, whether it's medical trips that go into Edmonton for cross cancer clinics, whatever. Not just for seniors, but also for individuals that are immobilized in some sort. We were able to provide enough money to buy this bus, and we're here today still doing the same thing 3 years later. And yes, there's money in the bank, partially because of what you guys do and also what our donators do. We're able to keep this bus going. So it is an essential service to our community. Maybe someday we can have 2 buses. But right now, we're just concentrating on the one. The ridership, our records show per trip, not how many people are on the bus at that time. We don't keep track of that. It's just how many times that bus goes out. That's what the ridership is. I don't know if it's important for everybody to know who's riding the bus or not. To me, it's just a trip. So, Intercon's answering the phones for us. They have right from day one, and they book the bus in advance. And CRS does our year end. Me and Pat don't get paid anything for all the services and the time that we put in, and there's a lot of time that we just donate. We don't take a wage at all. What else do you want to talk?
Yeah, I think, does anybody want to know where the name Drake's came from? Yeah.
Sure, tell us.
So my great-grandparents named Drayton Valley, and their last name was Drake. And I wanted to have a legacy left in Drayton Valley, and that's where the name came from, Drake's Handy Bus.
Cool.
Oh. Do we want to talk?
Yeah,
about this?
I think just a bit more, and I ended up getting information from Sam, of course, after she parked the bus. So this was after I had sent the form in. So what Sam does is right now Sam sold her bus company to Prairie. So she asked me one day, she said, there's lots of days we could do 2 trips. Are you okay if I hire Prairie? So she hired Prairie in September for 7 trips, which gave her the opportunity to do an out-of-town trip with Drake's and then use the Prairie bus for in-town. What happens in that situation is Drake's charges $16 and Prairie charges $78. Out of the $78, they do pay the driver. So effectively what's happening is we're using $42 for each Prairie trip so we can provide the service. But it's, again, that's using donated money to cover that. As you know, the majority of the money is donated. The revenue is significant, but it's not running the show, that's for sure. Another conversation Lola and I had was about the 25,000. And I said, you know what, we can do without the 25,000 this year. We got $80,000 sitting in the bank. But after reflecting on that and thinking about it, I wondered if it would be easier. I know Hans said it's a line item in the budget, and I just wondered if it would be easier just to say it maybe 12,500 annually. For right now, that's not my decision to make. It's an alternative to taking it out of the budget and putting it back in the budget. And, you know, right now, the way things look, we could make it on 12,500. If at any point in time, a person considered a second vehicle, Sam's, as long as she has notice, okay, she says what she does is she takes the Drake's trip and she gives her big bus to a driver rather than getting the driver to do the Drake's trip. So as long as she has notice, she's going to have a driver at 3:30. All right. But she can't have a driver at 3:30 when you call at 3:25. That doesn't work because everybody's committed. So and like she says, this is a 24/7 operation if you book ahead. Because I know there's several trips where Sam has got somebody to the cancer clinic at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I don't have any other comments. We'd be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for that. I'll open it up for questions. Councillor Clark.
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I think I have a general understanding of kind of the process around what it takes to make things work, but can you kind of explain, if I'm in need of a ride, I call and you come at the specified time that I would like you to pick me up and sort of thing, or is it scheduled? Do you have anything scheduled? How does that all work?
Intercon messaging, which I own. As well. And I'm the majority shareholder. So several of the girls that work for me are shareholders at Intercon. So you phone 542-8706. Good afternoon, Drake's Bus Service. Hi, this is Amy. I need to be in the city on November 2nd at 5 o'clock in the morning for an MRI. I just had an MRI myself at the Royal Alec at 7 a.m. So those kind of bookings happen. Okay. We text Sam, this person needs to be here at this time. Sam calls him, says, I'll pick you up at this time, takes him to the city, brings him home. It's that simple.
But the bus was also designed for seniors 55 and older, being a little proactive. When you turn that in.
None of us are that old,
Yeah, I
right?
know. A few more years ago. And for people with mobility issues, that's what it's for. It's not made for somebody that has family that's available, that's not disabled or anything like that to utilize, right?
Perfect, thank you.
Councillor Gamana.
Thank you, and yeah, thank you very much for the presentation, both of you. I'm just wondering about how many rides per year last year we've done just for the benefit of the community, as well as would you be doing, is it one passenger at a time, or is there like a few passengers that have scheduled rides that go to Edmonton or any other locations?
The majority of trips are a single user. So if we ever decided on a second unit, it does not need to be a bus. It needs to be wheelchair accessible. Having said that, I knew you were going to ask, but I don't, we have the data, but I don't have it all in one pile. And it averages 15 to 20 rides a month. And the seniors lodges, when they call, it's for anywhere from 4 people to go to the swimming pool, such as Seasons, or 7 or 8 people to go shopping, such as the Shangri-La Lodge. Do I have the actual number of riders in my hand? No. Can I get them? Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So when you talk about users, so if there was a group that were wanting to go to Walmart, then they would call, and how many people can the bus hold again? Sorry?
No.
We took some seats out so we can get wheelchairs in there, and those seats are really small in that bus.
Okay.
So Sam generally would take 7.
7?
7
Okay.
and a wheelchair.
Okay, so 7 could go, or if there was a craft show or a market or something that there would be a group of people. One of the questions that we've had, or I guess that's come up a few times was, and I think it might have even been you, Monica, that brought it up, is years ago, there used to be a transportation for seniors that maybe took them to Stage West and did things like that. So has there been, I guess, you know, people asking about, you know, what about theater or going to a night out or doing something like that? Are you getting that from anybody asking to go for those types of trips to the city or something?
Yeah, every time I go to the seniors and say, come on, you guys use the bus, here's a bunch of gift cards, like take them to, you know, blah, blah, blah. They want us to they want us to do all the work, and then they want us to phone them, and then they want us to take them to the casinos.
For 5 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
So these trips don't happen.
well,
They need somebody kind of.
if somebody's got a lot of time in their life, I'll trade them jobs right now, because I'll
So
tell
they
you
need
what,
somebody
I don't
to
have any
coordinate
time
that
in my life. We
casino
just did a,
trip, right?
we just did an acquisition at my office of 200 new clients, and it's been the biggest shit show of my life. And I can tell you, I am not organizing a trip to the casino for the bus. But if anybody wants to take that on, they're welcome to it.
Oh, I love it. That's really, hey, counselors, you've got yourselves a casino trip to plan. Counselor
We've
McGee.
also donated trips to like the gardens and stuff like that.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Summertime, we've donated those trips. Well, it's free to the seniors, but I mean, like Lamplighters or one of our donators pay for that.
Have done
We
that.
gotta, we have
That's
to pay
nice.
for the
Yeah.
bus, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that we were really sad, disappointed, or whatever it was, we had trips to look at the Christmas lights around town, and were canceled. It was COVID related at that point. But I mean, I'm sure that if somebody, I'm not going to organize it, but I'm sure if somebody said, hey, phone the bus, can we take the seniors from Seasons around on a Christmas light tour? Sam would be thrilled to do that.
Oh, wow.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
that's
it
nice.
does require somebody to say, let's make this happen,
Yeah.
right? Phone, you know.
But the medical appointments come first.
Yeah.
So those, that's the priority calls, right?
But they're in the daytime.
Yeah. Yeah. And then how many are averaging, or do you know, like, say, to the city for those medical trips? Are they quite a bit that are happening?
You know what? I can get that to Lola,
Oh, okay, sure.
but with 200 new clients right now and the shit show going on in my office, we don't have time right now.
Yeah.
But
Oh, no, no
we'll
worries.
We'll get it to you, and then you'll have the data on what the trips are and where they went and all that. But
Sure, yeah.
you
And
got to give us a couple
Yeah,
months, because
no rush on that, just questions. Tom, go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. So Pat and Amy, let me just ask a personal question. So Drake's house is also the house across from the pool black, right?
It is.
And so there's been some pressure being putting on to name the street in front as Drake.
I know, I
Street.
would like that to
I
happen.
thought you would. I thought I would bring it up so everybody's aware.
So where?
It's right across from
The old swimming
the
pool.
The old swimming pool.
There's a plaque on it and got a new red door.
Yeah.
So
And the house
it's
is-
for sale, I think.
Is it?
I think it is. Yeah.
You could do ghost tours.
I don't think the new owners would like that, but.
And as I recall, he's the first mayor. Mr. Drake.
Mr. Drake.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
he's the
that's,
first mayor. Yeah, I remember we had this conversation.
so it's really important to note that. And granddaughter,
Great granddaughter.
great.
I'm not that, quite that old
granddaughter.
yet.
yeah, here.
Got it.
There, Tom.
Okay, having said that, we've been talking about transportation within the community, and so next steps, and so we've even gone so far as to look at a transportation company that would provide services and because, you know, some of the stories that we'll hear from the seniors at the lodge, that they have to get a cab here and a cab there and a cab there, and it's $75 in the end, right?
I know, yeah.
And so it seems to me that we should consider how we are transporting our seniors, and is there a way for us to do it more effectively, efficiently? And I say that not lightly, because if you take the handy bus with one person all the way to Edmonton, not very efficient. I don't think, but maybe it is. And I also know that we have a number of buses that long-term care has a bus. There are buses around, but they're not usable. They're not available to us as a community.
They too have trouble getting drivers.
To have that issue around. And so I think we have been thinking about it. So, and I know that you've got a shit show happening at your place. So the timing isn't right, but over the next little while, we should be thinking about what our next steps are in transportation for our seniors. I think it's really an important subject, and we're not addressing it the best way we can. I know you're at it, others are at it, but I think we can do better, in a political way. So that's.
So Tom, this came up a long time ago. Here's what we said, and maybe I didn't put it in writing and send it directly to council, but here's what we said. If you want it, you tell us what you want, what days of the week, where to go, where all the stops are. Tell us what you want, and we'll price it out, and we'll see if we can make it happen. So do I need to put that in writing? That's, you guys tell us what you want. You get a picture in your mind of exactly what you want, put it in writing, Sam will price it out and say, here's what it's going to cost.
And that would take some effort for us to go to the seniors lodge, to Seasons, and to everywhere to say, what is it that you would require, or what would work best for you? And so I think that's a great question. I don't think you have to put it in writing. I think you plopped it right in to the table now. And I think we can, get that work done so that at least you see exactly, so that you can make an informed decision rather than
Well,
Wednesdays would be the best days. 'Cause that's
Seniors
discount
Day.
If they need to go grocery shopping,
it's where I meet-
whatever, right?
It's where I meet all my friends.
That's, that's been produced to all the senior homes. That, Wednesdays would be a great day for them to go shopping, and we can pick them all up.
Yep.
Make stops or whatever. But in the same sense, the medical priorities, that's, the idea behind Drake's was giving, quality of life to seniors. Giving them some dignity of not being able to drive anymore, but still being able to get out and go with their little gal pals and have lunch or whatever, right? Go shopping, go to the casino, go to whatever.
Tom, I think that, I guess I should say Councillor McGee, is that the proper thing to do? When we first started this and we had lots of time, we had this vision of each senior center, 10 minutes apart. However, we'd get to, you'd end up at Lavender Lane doing the pickup, and then you'd go to maybe Lavender Lane, they can walk to Independent or maybe not, and then go to Walmart and do 2 loops in a day where you could get on and off the bus, and there'd be a bus stop that said the bus will be here at this time at the drop-off locations. And then that if you want to shop there, you got an hour till the bus is going to get back, right? Because the bus got to go back to all the lodges and come back. So we definitely had that vision when we first started. COVID hit, and it didn't happen. We could use the Prairie bus in town to do that, and we could send the Drake's bus on the medical trips if they coincided on a Wednesday or something like that. This is all possible. And Sam Hill has the time and the knowledge and the ability to set that up and do that for us, right? Just have to make a decision. It's not that hard to at least try it on a Wednesday. It does mean a little bit of advertising. I will do one thing going forward. I will ask Sam if she would just map out a plan to do the round trip to all the seniors and wherever they might want to stop. I don't know where all would, I don't want to tell anybody, but I don't want to ride the bus yet, and I don't want to admit that I'm over 65, but where all would you want to go? For me, Home Hardware, and
Alberta's like, amen.
yeah, home Hardware, and Independent, and Home Hardware and IGA are together, Independent and Walmart, or Canadian Tire and Value Drug Mart. So 4 stops, right? 4 senior centers, 4 stops. That's a couple hour round trip, right? And then what do you do if you're sitting there and you don't want to wait anymore? Well, then you call a cab because the bus ain't coming for an hour.
Yep.
Sort of thing. So
when I take your point, and that's a good point, don't make me organize that. So your question is, we've got a meeting on Friday with the Brazeau Seniors Foundation. I'll put it on the table. you put that piece together, talk to your colleagues at Seasons and your, at Points West, and see if we can't get something that will help us make the next decision, whatever that decision is. And at $25,000 for transportation in a community our size, that may not be a great deal of money. I don't know, but you know what I mean? I think transportation is important. To Amy's point, it's about dignity, it's about freedom, it's about those kinds of things. So we're there. So it's a timely conversation that we're having this morning. Thank you.
Counselor Ballas?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for your service to our community and looking after our seniors. It's a very important role that you play and greatly appreciated. I fortunately have not had to use this service yet. And I'm a little over 65 as well. Secondly, it's unusual for a request to come in asking for less money, so that's also appreciated. Thank you very much for that. And I just want to condemn you, not condemn you.
Thanks.
Commend.
I don't want to condemn you. I just want to congratulate you on the service you do provide, and it's a very useful service for our community, and I know it's greatly appreciated by our seniors. And can we expand on it with us getting more involved? I think we could. I think, you know, you probably do need some help. It's a lot of work on your behalf, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just have a couple questions. So I think of how I want to ask this. So could our centers like Seasons and Points West and that do a better job of coordinating these trips with you? Is that, yeah? Okay.
But you know, that's, could they do a better job? I think they know we're there. Amy's been to every place, and anytime I talk to anybody, I say, you know, we got the bus, we can help you out.
Yeah.
And Amy's been to every senior center and said, hey, just phone us. So Seasons in Shangri-La certainly do.
Yeah.
It's a matter of them deciding that they have enough to call the bus or whatever. They
Yeah.
know about us.
Yeah.
Whether they choose to use us or not, like the bus that Bill's talking about, the Wild Rose Foundation and the Turner Foundation put together, but it's parked at the hospital. And
Hasn't been used for years.
well, I've seen it out and about a couple times. So
Yeah.
you were sick that day. Anyway, could we do a better job? Of course, we can always do a better job.
Yeah, yeah. And then you spoke about having the capability of using Prairie, and you said $78 and then versus 16. So if,
Just think of that. Okay, just a minute, because Prairie pays the driver. Out of that 78, Prairie pays the driver. The difference is $42.
okay, so what does the rider pay? Is it the same no matter what bus?
Rider pays the same.
So it's $8 one way,
Yeah.
16 round trip no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Prairie is just like a school bus, right? Like the big,
It's a baby bus.
Baby bus.
oh, baby bus. Okay. And then does it have the capability for wheelchair and all that as well? Or is it
I
just,
don't know that.
okay.
I doubt it because it's a school bus.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Well, thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate everything you're doing and the services that you're providing to our seniors. Like you said, it's amazing that it gives them the opportunity to get out in the community, to not kind of be confined to their homes or, you know, the places that they're living. So it's a great opportunity. We just all, I think, can do a little bit better and work a little harder to make sure that we're getting them to girls' night and casino night and the home hardware and everywhere else that maybe we can all work a little bit harder to make this happen. So thank you very much
Add
for
one more
coming.
thing,
Yeah.
sorry. So it wasn't just, the reason behind Drake's wasn't just for the seniors, it was also for their families. If I took 7 months off of my work and life to look after my dad because he didn't have a driver's license, mom couldn't drive. So his medical appointments, I had to take time off in order to drive him all the time. So it gave me, when they both passed before Drake's was ever put in, but in the aspect that it's gonna not interfere with family time, especially today when times are tough for a lot of families, of having to take that time off. They know that Drake's is there and they're reliable to taking them into those medical appointments.
Yeah,
That was one of the big things.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Take care. So that wraps up our delegations. Business arising from delegations, it will be included in our budget discussions, the consideration for the 12,500 yearly rather than the 25,000. That'll be a conversation that we'll have here in the coming weeks. And I think we have time to jump into our first decision item, which is 9.1, Community Standards Bylaw Text Amendment, Unfit Structures. Mr. Thompson and Mr. Rossing. Okay, well, not Tom. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just bringing forward to council a report for a proposed amendment to the community standards bylaw. So under the Town of Drayton Valley Strategic and Corporate Business Plan, one of the items in there is community cleanup, beautification, and standards. One of the tasking items in there was to create a new community standards bylaw, which was done and enacted in June of 2022. Since that time, Enforcement Services has been actively enforcing the community standards bylaw and has identified an item requiring attention to increase the overall ability to enforce the bylaw as it's intended to its full extent. During the October 4th, 2023 regular meeting of council made a motion to direct administration to prepare an amendment to the community standards bylaw to include provisions for landowners being responsible for structures deemed unfit for human habitation. Since that time, administration has worked with legal and we have prepared a community standards bylaw text amendment, which is before council today. The proposed bylaw amendment would amend the community standards bylaw as it pertains to structures deemed unfit for human habitation by Alberta Health Services or deemed unsafe by safety codes officers, by also including landowners and not just the owners of the structures to be responsible to ensure that the structures are either repaired or demolished and properly removed. As this amendment is going to have greatest impact on owners of lands with structures they do not own, such as mobile home parks, administration has reviewed the Mobile Home Sites Tenancies Act with legal and believes that owners of mobile home parks would have legal avenues to pursue through Alberta Courts of Justice to be able to get the structures either repaired or removed. As this amendment is going to have greatest impact with mobile home park owners, the original intent was if first reading of this bylaw was to pass, then administration would work with notifying all of the mobile home park owners. We've actually been able to notify all the mobile home park owners this week already, gave them a heads up. We have received confirmation from the owners of Greenwood, Center Court, and West Park that they have received them. I've also been in conversations with the owner of Western. We've had some emails back and forth, but they haven't confirmed that they've received it yet. And I'm still trying to make contact with Pleasant View. I did send them to all emails on file and did call all numbers. So Pleasant View might be the only one that may or may not know about it at this point, but the others have all either confirmed it or we've been in discussions. So in addition to already notifying them, as always, administration does recommend that mobile home parks and anyone seek their own independent legal advice on the most appropriate way for them to deal with structures. However, we have put in some information on our report here of ways that they may be able to address it through the Mobile Home Site Tenancies Act. This is discussions that we've had with our legal advice already. So with that, there are, in addition to kind of sections of the act that they can deal with to get them removed, there are recommendations as well for pre-existing tenants as well as for new tenants going forward, different things to put into the agreements kind of thing to make sure that if a structure does become deemed unfit for human habitation, they can properly deal with it through the tenant agreement. So with this financial implications, should there be no amendment to the community standards bylaw and we remain with the current state that it's in, the town of Drayton Valley may incur high cleanup costs of part of the 2024 budget and beyond. It may be recovered through collections if the owners of the structures are properly identified. With that being said, administration is looking to proceed with getting first reading of the community standards bylaw text amendment today. And then we would be bringing back second and third reading at a future date to council for further discussion.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions? Councillor Clark?
Just in the package that we've received here, I see that there's, you know, the suggested best way for mobile home landlords to respond. You know, I think it's our job to kind of say, here's what we need, or here's what we want. It's up to them to decide how to do it, right? So whether or not they put it in their, you know, their lease agreements doesn't really matter to me. It's just, they deal with it, right?
Correct.
The other side of this too is, you know, they're business owners. They own the land. I really don't care who owns the structure at the end of the day. So I think this really kind of ties it up quite nicely and, you know, gives us the teeth we need to get these black guys out of here. So, so I think, you know, this is really good, and I appreciate that you brought it to us. So thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Councillor McGee?
We received a letter just a week or two ago about a particular trailer that's been in our community for some time. Walk me through the process now that we have this.
Yeah, for this particular incident, structures need to be deemed unfit for human habitation by Alberta Health Services or unsafe by a safety codes officer. So if the structure isn't deemed unfit for human habitation or unsafe by a safety codes officer, this wouldn't apply in that particular instance. However, if they have been deemed unfit or unsafe, then at that point, what we do is we proceed with issuing an order to the owner of the structure, or if this gets passed to the landowner kind of thing. And at that point, they have a compliance state to comply with. When they receive an order, they do have the ability to request a review by council within 14 days of receiving it. So then council could either confirm, vary, or alter the order at that point, should the request be made. Should there be no requests done, the 14 days expires kind of thing. Obviously, we would continue until that compliance state. Once we get to that compliance state, if they've resolved the issue, great. If they haven't resolved the issue, then we have a couple different avenues that we can explore at that point. One option is it does have a $5,000 fine for not complying with or having a structure deemed unfit for human habitation or unsafe. So if we can locate the owners, we can issue fines up to $5,000 for that. We have another ability to issue another fine for $500 as pertains to not complying with the order that we issued. And then at that point, we would be proceeding, if the structure is still there and needs to be dealt with, we'd be proceeding with going to the King's Bench to get an order from the courts to allow the town of Drayton Valley to either remove or demolish the structure.
All right, so we've had a structure that's, I'm assuming 2 years ago or 3 years ago was deemed, nobody can live in it. The owner can't live in it, nobody can live in it. And it's still there. And this is what the particular person is writing about, saying, good God, why aren't we doing something?
We have a file open for that, and that structure has not been deemed unfit for human habitation. I think there was confusion between two side by side, and for our files, that structure has not been deemed unfit for human habitation by AHS.
Anyway, my point would be 2 or 3 years is too long.
Mhm.
It's unfair, and we need to move on that particular piece of property. Whatever way we can do that, we need to move.
Yeah, so
It's
in
just
regards
unfair.
to that particular email that you're speaking about with that property, we do have an active file in regards to the community standards bylaw, and we can only deal with what's in law, right? So we're actively dealing what is in law that is in violation. So should that property come in compliance, then we would conclude our file at that point, because it would be in compliance with the law at that point, so.
You've looked at the trailer, have you?
Correct.
It's not good. It's inhospitable. It can't be lived in.
Again,
Please, for gosh sakes, do not make our process so tight that we can't do anything. That's my only point. I get where we're going, and I'm 100% in favor of it, but I'm just concerned that our process, as all processes, it seems, and government are laborsome and cumbersome and
Lengthy. Yeah, I would agree. And with this particular resident that Tom's talking about, in here it mentions that contact owners, managers of the mobile home parks located within the town of Drayton Valley. This isn't in a mobile home park, this is in a residence. So does the wording have to be changed at all in this so that it's, because we do have mobile homes throughout the community in residential areas rather than just mobile parks, right?
Yeah, so how the proposed amendment of the bylaw is worded is it allows the town of Drayton Valley through our community standards bylaw to deal with either the owner of the structure or the owner of the land. So in a normal, ordinary, I've got a house located on a piece of land, you're gonna own the house, you're gonna own the piece of land kind of thing, right? So we can deal with either or at that point. So it's easy with our current bylaw to deal with that. Where we run into the issue is where we have something like a mobile home that is on a piece of land. If the same person isn't owning the mobile home and not owning the land, we can only deal with the owner of the structure at this point. So how the proposed amendment is worded is to be able to deal with either or both, to be able to gain compliance, to be able to get that structure either fixed or out of there kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, and I think that I would agree with Tom that I think the speedier that we can get through these, because I know that this particular resident that we've been talking about for years, because I know we've received several pictures and we've visited there a few times and dealt with that a few times. So I think just the ongoing need for enforcement and then to make sure that these are getting wrapped up, reducing the red tape and moving on, just for the residents around, right? It makes it very unsightly and unpleasant for neighbors and everything to have to deal with, I guess, instances like this. Any other questions or comments? If there is nothing, I'm looking for a member of council to make a motion for first reading. Councillor Sheriffs?
I'll make a motion that council give first reading to bylaw 2023-02P as presented.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Lots of conversation around this. I know one of the things, excuse me, we keep talking about is the increase for enforcement in our community and that beautification and just that following through. And I think like Colin said, this bylaw just gives this some more teeth now to start that enforcement, to get to the next stage and hopefully see some results from this. So if there's no further questions, comment or debate, then I'll call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much for that. Moving along the agenda, we'll jump to 9.2, Drayton Valley Municipal Library Board appointments. Ms. Strand.
just, Madam Mayor, before we go to that, Verna, I see you're here, I think there's been some miscommunication, and for the banners. We're going to try to tie it into another meeting because, and so if you can just hold the banners, Tom, you're aware of those banners, and we're going to try to find the appropriate time. And let me tell you, is we've got free hamburgers tonight. No, we do. Fire department has free hamburgers tonight. And I wonder, Tom, if it would be a reasonable time to unfurl the banners. I don't know, but putting way more pressure on than you need to have it.
Maybe we'll have that conversation at break with Tom on the side. Gotcha, yeah. Perfect, thanks, Tom. Okay, and Lola, you're not presenting. Doug is presenting this morning. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I have you on here for both. Yeah.
So,
Good morning, welcome.
good morning.
How-
If you weren't aware of what that was about, Verna spearheaded a whole lot of effort and put some extra work into getting thank yous made up for town council, town staff, fire department, RCMP for taking care of us during the wildfire. So that's what that is about. And I'm glad that we're going to finally be able to present those. So in terms of the library board and trustee appointments, every year we have at least 2 trustees who are coming up for either a renewal or we have a new appointment coming out. This year we had 3. So Colleen Schoenenger, who's a county resident, has been on our board for the last 3 years. Her appointment needs to be either renewed or we need to fill her spot. We also have 2 other trustees, Pat Adamson, who has been on the board for over 9 years, and Donna Gawalko, who's been on the board for 6 years. So their appointments were coming up for renewal, and they said, Pat has reached that maximum number of appointments, three terms, 9 years. So she says, I'm stepping back. And Donna said that she's wanting to focus on some of the other things that she does in the community, like the food bank. So she is stepping back. We are therefore needing 3 appointments, 3 members, and we have 2 new members who have come to our board and attended meetings. Ali Aladra, who's from the Lindale area in Brazeau County, and Mary Turner, who lives in Parkland County and uses our library quite regularly. She is interested in joining our board. And according to the Libraries Act, you don't have to live within the borders of town or Brazeau County to be appointed. So seeing as we serve people from Tomahawk and Parkland County area, it makes a perfect fit for us. We serve beyond our borders. That means that we need to bring the request to town council for reappointing Colleen Schoenenger to our board, appointing Ali Aladra, and appointing Mary Turner.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Any questions this morning for Doug? Councillor McGee?
And given that Donna and Pat are stepping back, and does this give you a full board then, the 3 appointments?
3 appointments will give us a full board of 10 members. That includes the elected member from the town of Drayton Valley and the elected member from Brazeau County, when those appointments are made.
So the original package that we received was that you needed 2, but that's changed because Donna and Pat have said it's time.
That is correct. So it's now 3. And I've got the applications for all 3 with their letters.
No, we have.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Councillor Gumana?
Thank you, Doug. Just wondering about the 2 that stepping down. Where are they from? And, does this resonate with the new appointments?
Both Donna and Pat are town residents. So if you're wondering about the composition of the board, we now have, there's the town councillor, county councillor. We have 4 residents of the town and 3 residents from Brazeau County and 1 from Parkland County, if these appointments all go through. So it's a good representation of our community in terms of who we serve.
Prior to this, we had 6 from the town.
Pauline is from the county, so her reappointment, it's not a new appointment now for the county. This is just a reappointment. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll make a motion that council appoints both Mary Turner and Ali Aladra as members at large and reappoint Colleen Schoenenger to the board, each for 3 years term effective October 31st, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you for the motion. Any comment, question, or debate on the motion? I'll just make the comment that I'd like to thank the ladies, and I appreciate them giving the many years of service to the board and to our community. I know that, like you said, they've been on there for quite a long time, and I certainly appreciate all the input and the hard work that they've done for the library board. It's greatly appreciated. And I also welcome any new and fresh ideas and members to the board. I think it's great to have that rotation as well, and just to see maybe some new ideas. And yeah, just looking forward to working with whoever is appointed to the library board.
Thank you, Mayor Dodds. I'll pass that along.
Absolutely. And with that, there is a motion on the table that council appoint both Mary Turner and Ali Aladra as members at large and reappoint Colleen Schoenenger to the board, each for a 3-year term effective October 31st, 2023. And I will now ask all in favor. That is carried.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much, and wishing the board many, many years of success.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Thank you. I think what we'll do is we'll call a 7-minute break. We'll come back, jump into community grants. And then before we go into closed, we'll jump to department and council reports. That way we have members of the public here, and then we can move into closed just before.
So who is it? Do you know them?
Minutes, and I would like to have that recorded, please. We were over the 7 minutes. We'll jump back into our decision items. We do have a light agenda, our lighter agenda today. We're moving into organizational meeting this afternoon, so we should be able to get through everything in a timely fashion. Thank you, Ms. Lola Strand, and we'll jump into community grants, fourth quarter allocation.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
I'm here to present to you the applications for the fourth quarter allocation for the community events grants. We did receive 3 applications for the Roger Coles Memorial Youth Sport Grant for the fourth quarter. We received an application for Kylie Adamkowski, who attended a National Rugby Tournament in Vancouver in July. Her request was for $1,600. We received an application from Kinley Adamkowski, who attended Western Rugby Championship in Calgary in August. The request from Kinley was $1,565. And we received a third application from Mia Benisek, who also attended the Western Rugby Championship in Calgary in August. And her request was for $1,193.20. We also received several applications for the community events grant. We received an application from the Cause for Critters for their annual Raise the Woof annual fundraiser, which is happening this weekend. The request was for $800. The Drayton Valley District Agricultural Society did apply for funding towards their West of the 5th annual Pigeon and Bird Show, which is happening December 2nd. That's happening over at the Brazeau County office. Just because this is a fairly new event, although it's not open to the public, there is opportunity for the public after the showing for community members to go and interact with the handlers of the birds and learn about the different species of birds. An application was also received from the EPBR for the annual pumpkin walk, which is scheduled for October 26th. The request was for $1,000. That event provides an opportunity for all community members to go out. It promotes access to the Pembina Nordic ski trails. There's lots of service providers involved. It's just a great family event. And the fourth application was from the River Valley Players. That was for their talent show that happened at EPAC on September 23rd. The request was for $1,000. I guess it was a packed show. It did provide lots of community members an opportunity to go and display their many talents. So there's a total of $4,487.33 remaining in the budget for the fourth quarter allocation for community grants. So this amount remaining actually is higher than anticipated, as the Community Foundation was not in need of their $2,000 in-kind request that council had granted to them because their event had to move indoors. Therefore, Public Works wasn't required to do all the preparation for that event. Also, the Drayton Valley Pro Rodeo only used $1,643.78 of the $3,600 of in-kind that was granted to them for the event. Just a note that if the in-kind funds had been utilized by the organizations, there would have only been a remainder of $530 to be allocated during this quarter. However, we do have the $4,487.33 remaining. So the total requests for this fourth quarter is $6,718.20. Therefore, if we were to grant all of the requests, then we would be over budget by 223087. So as the committee went through the applications, we basically just used the principle of equal support for similar activities until the full funding was exhausted. So the attached is the committee recommendations. So what the committee did recommend was to provide the 3 applications to the Roger Coles Sports Grant for an equal amount of $1,000 each. So that would be $1,000 for Kylie Adamkowski, $1,000 for Kinley Adamkowski, and $1,000 for Maya Anisak. The committee, not because the committee thought that the Cause for Critters event is not important, that is the one application where the Cause for Critters does receive support from the town during its regular operations. They requested, we recommend that the Drayton Valley District Egg Society for their West of the Fifth Pigeon and Bird Show on December 2nd receive $1,000. The BBR Pumpkin Walk on October 26th to receive $1,000. And there was a recommendation that the River Valley Players for the talent show receive, I'm sorry, that should be $500 for those 2 events. And then the Ag Society, $487.33, just so that we're rounding it out to the 0.
Perfect, thank you. Questions? I do have a question. So for Cause for Critters, this is being held at the MCC?
Yes.
Have we in the past donated or even give a discount off the cost of that, or like for as in kind, or would that be even something that we'd be wanting to look at, or just kind of throwing it out there?
For the Mackenzie Center?
For the Mackenzie Conference Center. Yeah, I think I looked in the application and I think it said that that's where it's being hosted at. And I just wondered if there'd be an appetite to
Yeah, so
percentage off or?
council would have the opportunity to do that. However, it would put us over budget because how we've been handling those in-kind requests.
Been the
is that-
same.
Is that rather than the facility have to, come up with that in their operating dollars, we've been taking that out of our community grant amount.
Gotcha. Councilor McGee?
My opinion on this.
Yep.
I don't think it actually should be here, but I've been told by many that this is your job. Pay attention to. So I think of the rugby. So I thought, okay, if we gave them 700 each, that would be where I would go, and I would donate the Mackenzie Center to the Cause for Critters. I would give 1,000 to Eagle Points, and I would give 1,000 to River Valley Players. The Pigeon Show, they're paying $1,000 to rent the county office. What? Where do we fit into that, right? You know the struggle that we have sometimes with who gets what. And I can't imagine that we give some money and then give it just to rent the county office when they in fact should be giving that to them. So it's just my opinion. Thanks.
Thank you for that. So a recommendation has been presented to us. There is a lot of individuals and organizations. I'm certainly happy to see that we have 3 individuals that have applied for the Roger Coles Memorial Youth Sports Grant to be recognized. I know this was one of those areas where we didn't have a lot of applicants in the past, and the last couple of times we've seen a lot. And I think that there's a lot of individuals in our community that need to be celebrated and need that extra support. Things are costly, and I think in order to push them forward to things like this, I think it's great. There's lots going on. I would kind of have the same concerns as Councillor McGee on the Fifth Pigeon and Bird Show, the $1,000, that is for the Brazeau County building. Yeah, my request, I mean, my suggestion would be to not give anything and to, request that the Brazeau County maybe offer the building to run this. Just my opinion, but yeah, lots to decide. Either needing a motion or further questions from council. Push this forward. Okay, Councilor.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we consider in this community grant for the rugby groups, Kylie Adamkowski, Kinley Adamkowski, and Maya Denisiuk, each $700 for the rugby tournament that has happened in August. And we donate the Kenzie Center to the Cause for Critters. We deny the Pigeon and Bird Show, and we give 1,000 to Eagle Point Blue Rapids and 1,000 to River Valley Players.
Did you do the math on that?
I did.
And it comes to
4,100.
4,100. Well, then with the additional 387, can we divide it up between the three
Sure.
ladies for the sports? Or Colin?
That 387.33 would go to Raise the Wolf, would it not, in kind?
Sure. It's a friendly amendment.
Yeah, so just to recap, 700, 700, 700.
Yeah.
And the bottom two would be 1,000 each, is that what you're saying, Tom?
Correct.
Okay, so
And then-
that 387.33 would
Put
go
it to
Raise
Mackenzie.
the-
And 0 for the Pigeon and Bird Show?
Yep.
Okay. So,
733.
and that would go to Cause for Critters, yes, and 0 for District Ag Society. Okay, so there is a motion on the table. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Okay, then I will call the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much for that. And we will move into our department reports. First up, we have Miss Terry for Municipal Service Department report. It's early, right? I know, for a department report. You're like, what is going on? I got to remember that you're here so early, what the questions were that I was going to ask you.
Oh, no, there's questions. Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council.
Good morning.
So I'm just gonna go into Public Works Department updates. Some last minute pothole filling is ongoing. We have a few locations still that need to be completed before winter season starts. Street sweeping of the leaves is ongoing. Chips and sand hauling is completed and now we're ready for the winter season. Equipment for snow removal is now actually at 100%. Since I did this report, we were almost there, but we're at 100% ready for winter now. Safety inspections were completed at Public Works facilities and the staff are working on completing all deficiencies needed based off the report findings. Gravel has been added to a lot of our really rough alleys and some finishing touches for blending. All of that is being completed. Asphalt repair on the dips on Matson Ave should be completed by the end of this week, I believe. Parks is cleaning up leaves in their green spaces. They're also doing some West Yard cleanup. West Valley and Peace Park walking trail upgrades is well underway. Compaction testing and subgrade structure was completed on October 11th. Paving crews were postponed a little bit, but we're able to come in on Saturday, October 14th, and should be completed today. And then we'll just have some final landscaping touch-ups to do. Assessment on flower beds and hanging baskets underway. Plans will be made to remove any that are dead as they kind of die off. We've planted some new trees in the cemetery, so they've been working on watering those. A culvert on one of the walkways in Aspen View had failed and had a major trip hazard on our trail network in there. So we had the culvert lowered and the ditching repaired, and then some minor asphalt work was completed this week. Utilities, the Sager pilot is still ongoing and is doing very well. Safety inspections at the water plant had been completed and all the deficiencies have been corrected now. We've completed all of our annual PRV maintenance and had found a couple minor deficiencies, but those have been corrected. Hydrant winterizing actually is now completed. Staff are lined up for some safety courses, and our septic receiving station concrete work was completed, and actually the whole structure has been redone now, so it's now open for business. Distribution upgrades, we were meeting with some landowners this week, and some further discussions with them are ongoing to start our investigation work for the distribution upgrades. For the landfill and engineering, free tipping days started October 13th and will continue the 14th, 20th, and 21st. Garbage is now being placed in the new cell for an insulation layer to protect the liner. Then we just have to wait for AEP to finish going through our report to let us open it up fully, but we're not going to open it fully until the other cell is completely done, which will be probably early next year-ish. Scale attendant interviews are completed and they've hired a temporary part-time for a mat leave position. Our engineer's been working with Fortis on plans for salvage and install of new power poles. Discussion with Fortis regarding lights along 18th Ave, 43rd Ave, and 50th Ave are in progress. A major third-party conflict on 50th Ave from Beckett Road to Ring Road has been identified by Fortis, and they're looking at alternative solutions for light alignment. Work will start on 43rd Ave and 18th Ave pretty quick here and should be completed by the end of this season. They're concerned that they're not going to be able to find the proper alignment for the 50 Ave, and that may have to be pushed to next year. 50 Ave construction is completed and all parties met on Friday, October 13th to do a final walkthrough. There was a few little deficiencies that were noted, and Border Pavings already came in and corrected those. I've also talked to Alberta Transportation about procuring a grant. So town and the consultants, we met yesterday to talk about resubmitting for phase 2 of our project through the Strategic Transportation Infrastructure Grant. And we should be submitting our grant application 2 weeks prior to deadline. And I believe that's all.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions for Shelley? Councilor Camana?
Yeah, before I ask any questions, just wanted to thank the team that who worked on the 50th, and it's a fantastic job, and we're getting great feedback.
Yes.
So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Regarding the free tipping days,
Yep.
initially, it was great that we are doing that again, but there was a little bit of a lineup on the household bin because there was only one bin.
Okay.
Just wanted to give the feedback to you, maybe having a couple of bins, especially when it first starts, would be prudent so that then there'll be
We can keep the traffic
moving.
Okay, I'll talk with operations and see what we can do to make that
Perfect.
a little bit more seamless.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Ballas?
Thank you. In regards to lighting, at our joint council meeting, you perhaps suggested that solar lights may be something to be considered. And I'm wondering where we're at on that, if it's too late or if we still could consider solar.
Well, because we've signed a contract with Fortis, unfortunately on 18th Ave, and all of those were kind of locked in on that contract, and they've done the engineering and all of those stages, so I can't necessarily back out of that. But we can definitely look into anywhere you guys plan on putting new lights in. We can look into what the cost differences are and do an analysis on that, because with solar, you're not going to get the distribution fees that you have to pay to Fortis. So I can understand why you would want us to look into kind of more of a detailed plan on how long would it take to recover the cost of those lights if we pay for them separately. So I'll look into that for sure.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we went with these kinds, because a proposal had come forward, I think that might be a few years ago now, and it was, the price difference was astronomical, especially considering that Fortis is covering a share of the costs here, which reduces our costs even further. But with the knowledge now that the prices for, the power bills and the electricity prices are where they're at, and I don't know, into the future, it's hard to know how they're gonna go, but knowing that we should probably look at any future trail lights for solar. And I know that there had been some talks about whether or not there was enough sunlight, or if it would have to be sort of a combination as well in the past, but I'd have to go back and look at the time, there was not an appetite from council to spend that kind of money. And then we brought an alternative forward and that got passed. And that's the reason why this project is currently going forward.
Yeah, and I mean, since then, of course, prices probably have changed. So doing another analysis on that isn't a bad idea to kind of show you what the differences are.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate following up on that. And the second thing is, you know where Carol LaPointe's office is? And then there's that alley that goes east, or it goes west. There's a humongous pothole there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. I'll go have a look at it and then we'll make a plan to get her filled in.
yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Good job, by the way.
No problem.
Councillor McGee?
Just two things that have come to my mind is that the project for the lighting, is it proposed for to be completed? Do we have a completion date?
The 18th Ave, so like along the ring road where we own, where the town owns, we put that new section of road in. And 43rd Ave for sure will be completed, Fortis says this year. But 50 Ave may be pushed to 2024 just because of the third party conflict.
And the reason I asked the question is because Councillor Ballas is right. In our joint council meeting, it came up, of course.
Oh, yes.
And the solar issue came up, but if we've got people digging dirt and they're running a string and line, it certainly makes some sense to try to coordinate if in fact the Brazeau County could make decisions
It'll be their portion of the ring road.
on their portion and using that as part of even the discussion with Fortis is that rather than end right there, we should be clear that they've said, no, we're going to do something different, or we're not going to do anything. So just because it's just makes sense.
I can reach out to the county for sure and have those conversations.
Okay. Last thing, any crossing lights, you recall there was a conversation about a crossing light if you're coming north from St. Anthony's and you're heading north, and then there's
On the curve?
There's the big curve, but there's also a pathway there that crosses to our pathway. And I've had people come and say that's because there's trees there. It's a little difficult, and maybe the kids are shooting across there, and that street goes down to Aurora School. That is kind of we wondered whether or not we could put those little blinkers on, or again, solar, right? Something that just goes ding. But I don't know if we finished it or if we costed that out or.
We have 4 still coming. We actually just sent out an email kind of looking at what the ETA is on getting them. So they're supposed to be here this Friday. We have a couple locations, but I do agree that is kind of a blind corner as well. So it might not be a bad idea to move one of those to that area for further safety. Yeah, kind of where 55th and 43rd meet. Yeah.
And we're talking something that's, I don't know how much they cost, but it relatively inexpensive. I see it sometimes if you're coming from the pool, there's something works there and tells me I'm going too slow. And then
Too slow. Too slow.
And so and they just seem to work, and and there's nobody, wondering about them. The solar works. I just think they're tremendous for those kinds of alerts, just alerts. Right?
Yep.
I don't know how much they cost. If they're that.
They're not very cheap, that's for sure.
Well, that's something that I'd like to know, because if the public asks me, I say, well, by the way, it's not like they're $1,000. It's
Yeah.
this much, right? So
Yeah, for 4 sets, it's closer to the $40,000 mark. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Just to do 4 different control crossings, yeah.
All right.
So it's not very cheap, 10,000 each.
That's why when we look at the solar compared to what we're paying, you have to look at that replacement, that longevity, that payback, everything.
Yeah.
And we did that with the lights on the ring road, right? And I'm thinking it was 480 opposed to like 4 times the amount of money. So that's where you look at, by the time that pays for itself, and then the replacement cost of those solar panels, you're generally not saving, right?
Yeah, yeah, so I should know that, right? Because that's easy for me then to say, by the way. And then-
Yeah, but I mean, we do have 4 coming and they come within our grant. And they don't specify in the grant where you put them. So we can really put them kind of where we feel it will enhance safety the most. So I could definitely look at.
You know, you've had your criteria, you've looked at it, but I just raised that one. I'm just interested too, so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Councilor Camana?
Thank you. Sorry, but when Councilor Bellis mentioned about the back alleys, so the one that next to El Dorado and we're going towards the Life Church, you know, that area, I'm not sure if that's town or if that's, but that there's lots of.
The back alley
It's
or the
kind-
road?
It's a road, right?
Oh, the road that goes up
From
on the side of
sign.
DeBe there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the sign, not the DB, from the sign that we have, the electronic sign. Next to it, El Dorado on this side.
So in the parking lot?
There's kind of a road that goes there, right? And there's lots of.
Behind cobblestone, that one.
No, no.
I'm not
In the
understanding.
parking lot?
In front of the parking lot, there's the connection.
Oh.
Right. What's that? Service road there, right? You know,
Oh,
I don't
I
know if
see.
that's the town or.
No, I don't think it is.
Well,
I can look into that.
we'll definitely check.
There's
But it's
quite a
looking
few
like that. Okay.
homes there. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for the 50th project. Looks fantastic. Again, yeah, lots of comments, how great it looks. And we did talk about how it looks wider. Like for some reason, I know we narrowed it, but it just, to me, it looks wider and I hear that, right? It's just
Yeah.
so smooth and it looks wonderful. Also, the trails by the Omniplex look fantastic. Lots of work going on down there. I was impressed with the blue and pink porta potties too. I did see some women on the project and I thought,
Yes.
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It was the first company I've seen with bringing a pink porta potty, so I thought that was fantastic. Looks great. When we talk about crosswalks and lights and things like that, did we decide we were going to do the stop sign at the Omniplex
Yes.
and do the crosswalk with it?
Correct.
Okay, so a light will go there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I couldn't remember because I know over the weekend there was a lot of activity with events going on, the Thunder game and everything, and there was like,
Yeah, we
it was
haven't,
crazy there.
we haven't changed the signage there yet, not until we get those.
So not
crosswalks
until
in
that.
place.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and we did push back the trees a bit. But
Yeah, you can't,
not a whole lot.
not a whole lot. So I think that crosswalk will really help, right? Yeah, because you see a lot of traffic, foot traffic coming through there, for sure. Christmas lights, I know it's approaching fast. What is kind of our plan, or are we have a plan kind of in place to
Yes,
head of
we,
the light up?
Tri-Electric has done some more of the blue lights that we have on the structures on 50th. We want to kind of light up everything up at the same time. So we did do a test run last night just to see how they worked, and they worked well. The next one is we just sent out an email seeing where our festive lights are because we did purchase some within the beautification plan this year. So we'll be doing a little display at 50th and 50th, potentially putting a Santa Claus and sleigh on top of the big sign. Some more lights around the trees and the shrubs in there, and then a couple different ornaments for the public kind of to interact with as well. So we'll have that up and going once we get the lights in. We'll be installing them right away. So
Perfect. And will we have the lights ready prior? And I don't know the dates of like the parade or the
We'll
light
have-
up or the Santa Claus, candy cane lane or whatever, all prior to
our
that,
goal is to have everything completed for.
within that same time frame
Yeah, and
perfect.
probably that day would be our grand light up of all of the lights and be
in the
ready for
town.
it.
Perfect. And then on snow removal again, have we communicated our snow removal policy to all the businesses?
We are working on it right now.
Okay.
Jen is putting something out Friday on Facebook, and then we have all the we're doing a mail merge right now to get all the letters sent out and out to the people affected by this. So
Perfect, prior to that.
Yep.
Okay, and then you talked about the grants for the projects already. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for everything and thanks for getting everything done. Okay, moving on to our next department report, Community and Recreation Service Department report. Ms. Strand.
Okay, lots to report. The Early Childhood Development Center has been in outbreak status for the last 3 weeks. It is still in outbreak status as of today. During that time, reports are made to environmental health to try call occurrences of illnesses, and this will end when we've had 48 hours with no occurrence. We're excited to share that Vermilion Energy is providing an additional $10,000 sponsorship for a healthy eating nutrition program. That was a welcome surprise. The support we received from Vermilion is a model of how partnerships in the community support and recognize the importance of quality childcare for their own workforce. We're really grateful for Vermilion for their ongoing and continued support. Under FCSS, we have a save the date in collaboration with the Healthy Community Coalition. We'll be hosting a poverty simulator exercise on March 11th, 2023 with United Way. A poverty simulation is a unique and powerful experience which challenges perceptions, changes perspectives, and strengthens understanding. I know that the Healthy Community Coalition is really hoping for council participation during that exercise. So if we can just have you guys mark that in your calendars, and more information will come closer to the event. FCSS is hosting a retirement planning presentation with Service Canada on November 6th at 6 p.m. at the CETC. There will also be an outreach worker coming that day out of Edmonton to lead the seminar, and will be available from 2 to 5 at Rotary House to work one-on-one with them and individuals to support them with any Service Canada related questions. So for those of you that are past that 55, as per Drake's discussion, the Omniplex Mackenzie Center Total Works CTC update. Total Works classes have started up. There's lots of fitness classes happening down there. All ice surfaces are in, and that includes the curling rink where they start playing this week. The Mayor's Gala took place on October 12th, of course. The Cost Family Fundraiser happened on the 13th, and the Lamplighter Senior Hockey Tournament is being held the whole week of October 14th and 15th. Down at the Ricochet Oil Corp Aquatic Center, programs continue to be underway for the fall season. They've reintroduced the Mini Minnows, and it's going well. Mini Minnows is a child's program that runs for 2.5 hours twice a week for kids under the age of 5. Participants create crafts, learn to swim, and develop social skills with other participants. The Seniors Fitness program, the Alive to 55 program, remains really popular with participants. For those of you that were on the FCSS tour, we saw many, many seniors enjoying their arthritic exercise classes in the pool there. There's some warranty issues that are continuing to be addressed down there. The bathing suit spinners are currently being repaired, and contractors are in contact with the suppliers for steam room repairs. Under community services, the Recreation Fee Assistant Program has really been utilized a lot this year in comparison to the past previous years. We've helped several low-income individuals and families to take part in town recreation activities. There have been 17 individuals / families who have qualified to date, which includes 20 adults and 23 children. A total of $8,028.35 out of the $10,000 has been granted to date, with 2 pending applications in review. So it looks like we're going to spend that entire $10,000 allocation this year. And under facility, the roof repairs on the Public Works building have been completed. The roof repairs over at the Cause for Critters Animal Shelter are being completed at this moment. A 5-year contract has been signed with Total Power. The annual sprinkler system inspections will take place starting next week, or I guess this week. The air conditioning unit over at the Cost for Critters Animal Shelter has been replaced. Barry's acquiring quotes for the repainting and smoothing out of the pickleball courts, as well as quotes for replacement of the rubber surfacing with asphalt at the splash park for the budgeting purposes. The taps at the CDC building are being replaced as the battery power taps have not been working efficiently. Tiles in the McKenzie Conference Center have been replaced, and a full final top coat has been done to dressing room number 1. Heating units in the curling rink have been replaced. Repairs have been completed to Urbana due to a small kitchen fair that we had over there. And inspections on the AEDs have been completed, and all data will be inputted into the AHS site.
Thank you very much for your report. Any questions? Councillor McGee?
I do have quick question under community recreation services. I think that's where it fit. We got Councillor Clarkson, a note saying Warming Hearts had closed, but it might have been just a day thing. So any report on that?
Warming Heart Center is closed this week,
Just this week?
just this week. What was reported to me was that they needed a week to regroup and reorganize their volunteers. So on that note, they are still short of volunteers. That's concerning with the winter months coming up. However, they are expressing that they do intend on doing a big campaign to recruit volunteers so that they can be open for those winter months that are coming up, and they feel that from their experience, it's easier to get volunteers when it's cold than during the summer months. So.
Okay. Then a question about the retirement planning presentation. How are you advertising that? It's a great thing to do, I think. I'm guessing there are people who would love to go as long as they know.
For sure. On social media, up on the sign by 7-Eleven, in the newspaper.
So if I open the free press tomorrow, it'll be in our box somewhere in there?
I hope so, yes. If not this week, then next week for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And the healthy eating nutrition program, it's ECDC.
Yes.
It's not to the other schools.
No, it's just ECDC.
Thank you.
Councillor Gamata?
Thank you. Not a question, just information sharing. I guess the Multicultural Association, they mentioned that they haven't got any feedback since the presentation that they gave. So just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure that we follow up. And then I know that there's been some efforts to schedule a collaborative meeting between the organizations. But perhaps I'll chat with you after and make sure that we have the right contact.
Sure. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Vallis, did you have a question?
Thank you. I'm not sure if you can answer this or not, but what is the 5-year contract that's been signed with Total Power?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to answer that question. Do we know?
I had a note in my comments too to find out.
I assume, is it for electricity or?
Yeah, because, well, it would be some sort of electricity contract, but I suspect it's for a certain facility only. So I have a note to find out, because I'm the contact for our contract for all our electricity. So I had a note to find out as well.
Okay, thank you. Secondly, I'm not sure if this fits into FCSS or not, but I've sort of been informed that there's a population that is having issues trying to get ID.
Yes.
So who was looking after that before? And is it part of our program to do that?
Yeah, it is. So the ID program is under the FCSS office. So staff there, people can access our staff that looks after that program by coming into our FCSS office, or she also attends the Warming Heart Center 2 afternoons a week to help folks to get that ID, because we know that that's the first step for folks to get needed government benefits, to look for signing a lease agreement, to almost anything, to receiving a bank account. So yeah, we do have that program.
So why has it not been accessible recently?
I'm not sure. Like I said, we do have staff in office. They just need to come to the office or access Tracy at Warming Hearts. So if there's a misunderstanding somewhere, perhaps we can talk after about what's going on, because it is absolutely accessible.
Yeah, it seems to be some communication issues
Yeah,
or
okay,
something.
yeah,
so-
no, it's absolutely accessible.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your report.
Thank you.
Moving on, Ms. Stone, 10.3 Communication Department Report.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
All right, I'll start with the communications going out to the residents and business owners that you were talking to Shelley about earlier. I just wanted to confirm that we are currently working on it right now. I'm just on YouTube figuring out how to do the mail merge. So that will be my project for the day. So we should be able to like get them out this week, no problem. And then fuller communications are going to start rolling out like right away, just so that the broader community is aware of what their responsibilities are when it comes to snow removal. So that's going to start right away. I did hear rumors that it might snow next week. So we see. I also did want to follow up with council about a request a couple of weeks ago about having the Omniplex ice schedule on the website. I'm happy to confirm that we've worked with the team and we do have a separate link on there right now. So you can log on and see what is going on in the ice at the Omniplex.
So log on our town webpage.
Yep, it's on the town website under the Things to Do tab, and you'll see that we have like our events calendar, and then there's like a sub tab under there, and it says Omniplex ice schedule. So the team's been working really hard to get all of that uploaded on there and then get a link so that we can put it on the website. So we will continue to work on making that more robust, but for now, we're making some headway. So we're really pleased about that.
Go ahead, Bill.
Just to follow up on that, is that something that can be communicated on Facebook as well, so that the public knows that
Yep, we can put
that is available?
a note, like if they're looking for that, that's where they can find it. You bet.
Yeah, or if you post it on Facebook, can it have like the little note and then you click on the note and it takes you right to it?
Yep, absolutely. You can put the
Okay.
link on there. It's not a problem. Oh, and then excitingly, I got the results back from our budget engagement that wrapped up on the 6th. I haven't had a chance to really deep dive into it yet, but I do have the results. And so in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be going through it, compiling a report to council. So that will help maybe in your budget decision. So I'm really excited to dive into that. Next is the MDP project. We've been working with Peter to get the information up on our engagement site, and we're going to start rolling that out this week as well. So there's going to be a survey that is currently live. We have also sent that link to, I've talked to Lola about sending it out to the Youth Advisory Committee, and Marie Lynn will be sending it out to the Education Committee to help disseminate within our schools as well. That is going to be ongoing for several weeks, and then there's going to be further engagement after that. Peter is working with consultants on what that is going to look like, so we'll just help communicate that when those details are finalized. We are also working with Food Cycle Science to further promote the program. We still have 175 units that we will be making available to the community. So we're going to be redoing an awareness campaign about that, and we are going to be moving to an online shopping system. So rather than having all those units here and we're trying to distribute them, it's going to be a little bit more streamlined. You can just go on their website, purchase whatever unit they want, and it'll ship directly to them. So we're making that a lot easier, more accessible. And I'll leave it there if there's any more questions.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Clark.
This maybe isn't for Jen so much, just the MDP project. I guess there's supposed to be involvement from community, council and other appointees. I guess when does council get looped into that? And I guess when is what's the schedule looking like for the kickoff of that MDP, or are we kicked off? Where are we at with it?
Well, council was involved at the last meeting, so we went into extensive
Well, you weren't
engagement.
here, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't here. So.
But I can see the other scheduled interactions with council where they might be, or if you want to still throw in your comments now. But we can get a schedule from Peter. I know he was working on dates, so there's going to be surveys. So there's going to be multiple ways for people to engage with us, and online surveys is one.
There's an open house scheduled. I believe it's been confirmed for December 7th at the CTC. We have the details on our engagement platform. I just can't recall them off the top of my head. And then there is going to be another public hearing, I believe, but I don't think a date has been set for that just yet.
I can look at the schedule. I know he went over it last time, and just forward you the schedule as well. Kind of it might not have dates, but it will have like kind of the order in which things are happening over the next year.
I was trying to look to see if that schedule, I can't remember if it was included. Maybe, were the questions in there? I'm just thinking maybe we could forward those questions to Colin, and then you can answer. There were 7 questions. It was kind of a little bit of a workshop we did, and we answered, and then Peter took that input, right? We did.
Yeah, and I guess where I'm coming from with this, I believe that we originally had 2 counselors assigned to the MDP process.
It was a bit of an ad hoc, yeah.
And I believe I was one of them, but then Peter said we should delay this for XYZ reasons. But I'd like to I'd still like to be involved in that, whatever that looks like. So,
Yeah.
Okay, I will have a discussion with him and get back to you.
And then I guess just a question in regards to the recycling units. You said how many do we have left? We have
175 more.
Or we have 175 because we ended up ordering more. Did we have a deadline? Because remember, this was part 2 of the project, and we had a deadline if we didn't get rid of the units that we could send back for that full refund, or?
I'll check and see. what
Yeah,
those
I don't
details were.
imagine if we're going to be setting up a shop and doing that way, I don't imagine we're approaching that deadline. But I guess I just wanted to ensure that if once we set up the shop and we do that and we're still left with 100 units or something, that, you know, we're falling within that deadline to get those units back, right? I think that's kind of when we signed up for the project, if I recall.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check the information that came to council, because Ken would have put that together.
Yeah.
And of course, we've had some turnover, so I'll just.
Yeah,
I'll get-
and I know that was one of the counselors that asked that question about when we went into the second phase, you know, what would that cost us? Maybe it was you, Amila, that said, what would it cost us? And then if we didn't use them, did we have the ability to send them back? And I think pretty sure we did. Yeah, so just maybe double check if there was a deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions? No, well, thank you very much for your report.
Thank you very
And
much,
we'll
Council.
move on to Growth Services Department report. I am going to try to say Kundi's last name. Come on down, Mr. Nairambiria. Kind of. You'll have to help. We'll have to talk after. You'll have to help me with that one. I apologize.
No, I appreciate the attempt. It's Nyambi Rai. Yeah. Sorry? So it's 3 syllables. Nyambi Rai.
Nambi Rai.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that.
sure. So for the department report for growth services, when we look at economic development highlights, 3 things stand out for us right now. So the first is the labor market industry gap analysis and education needs assessment study that was still doing with KPMG. So in this item, we've made some progress, and we're currently reviewing a current state assessment of the Turner Written Valley. So this involves an environmental scan that they did on the town and and then basically provide that research to us to then take into an engagement, stakeholder engagement, which we hope to start next week. Apart from that, the Rural Node Stream program is still going well. 124 employee applications in total, 4 new applications that we received last week. And as at this moment, we're still continuing our work with ClearPoint towards really just developing a reporting mechanism for our work plan. Now, when it comes to the energy highlights, the thing that really stands out is for the eVenture Northwest Alberta. So that has to do mostly with the electric vehicle network that they're trying to build, and Drayton Valley being one of those connecting points regionally. And so conversations have moved forward with the Community Energy Association. So right now, they just came back to us asking for a bit of advocacy to the MLA and the minister. And so that's something we're having a discussion with them right now to see what that looks like. They sent us a few drafts for letters. And so that's something we'll be definitely bringing forward at some later point. When it comes to education, I guess the big highlight is we have now successfully hired someone for the student support specialist position. So they'll be starting November 6th. And so presently we're just working on a work plan for them so that when they come in, we can just hit the ground running, so to speak. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions? Councillor Clark?
Kundi, when I look at that eVenture Northwest, I believe that's a group of, what is it, Rocky, Drayton, Whitecourt, those areas. So cost-wise, is that group looking for the Alberta government to pitch in or just completely pay for it? One question, and then 2, is this sort of a, if you build it, they will come sort of thing? And then the third question is do we have any sense as to whether or not, you know, the Petrocans and Essos and Shells, are they looking at e-charging stations at all?
So to answer your questions, so the way it works is that they applied initially last year, they applied for NRCan funding, and they're still waiting for approval for that funding. They partnered with ATCO, and ATCO basically are coming on hand to pay for 50% of the costs, provided that funding can be provided for the other 50%. And so in advocating to the provincial government, it's just another way to get the word out to them and see if there's any way that the government can also step in. And on your second point about, you know, bill to come, that certainly is a part of that, where we think that as we look federally, you know, clean tech and the green initiatives is something that they've been pushing. And so something that was noticed when it came to Alberta is that there was just so many gaps when it came to electric vehicle charging stations. There wasn't a broad network for people to sort of come and pass through Drayton Valley if they do have electric vehicle cars. And so this is just a way to get those people here to Drayton Valley so that they can come in, spend time in Drayton, see what it looks like. And so with the site that we located, the parking lot, we thought it was a great site for them to basically be immersed in the business community, and as well other amenities. And so for your last point, we have been actually recently in discussion with Fortis. They were looking to apply for grant funding as well. And so we'll see what that sort of conversation looks like, if we can be a part of that, so that we can have other, you know, areas that we can have electric vehicle charging stations, just so that it's enough for as many people that come to the area. And yeah, hopefully I answered all your questions.
Councillor Kamana, do you have a question?
No, just a comment. Kundi, we had the joint council meeting the other day, and one of the conversations was about the Western Economic Corridor. And they mentioned that they are open to have discussions about that. Just wanted to let you know that, and maybe, you know, start those discussions again. You know, I guess we have to have a conversation as well, but, you know, just to revive that conversations with them, with the county.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely reach out. I think Brian might be a new hire for them, right? So yeah, I'll be sure to reach out to Brian and, you know, just continue those conversations.
Perfect. Just a couple questions. Our student support specialist, this was for the front desk, kind of, that was this position, not the education coordinator, right?
Exactly.
This
So
one,
it's
okay.
Front desk, supporting students.
Supporting and the,
Yeah, liaising between other stakeholders, just so that they can support students in the way that they need, and the facility itself.
okay, perfect. And then second question, today is the Career and Job Fair for the Chamber was hosting. Do we have a town representative there kind of talking about our initiatives in education and stuff?
We do. So
Okay.
Marilyn's there right now.
Perfect.
And the plan is after this meeting, I'll come in and take over so that she can kind of get some work done.
Wonderful. And then we have all the information there for our education partners, our zero fee, everything that we're kind of doing
Yes.
and everything like that. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for your report. We'll jump into council reports. Councillor Ballas, you are up first.
Thank you. So since our last regular meeting, we had another round of interviews for our CAO. Also spoke or joined a webinar on the David Thompson Health Authority, and Monica was the note taker, so I'm sure she'll give a report on that. Had the growth and services ad hoc meeting. Then we had a strategic PPRC meeting in the evening. Joint council meeting on the 13th. And then I just, for information purposes, there's a few webinars that I think are perhaps worth listening to. I think I sent an email out to some the council members in regards to one coming up tomorrow on homelessness. It's from, I think, 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock or something tomorrow. Might be worth checking into and listening to. And then there's a webinar coming up on the 15th of November, which I know is a council day, but it's in regards to grants and funding. And I think it's, again, something that
I've seen that, yeah.
might be worthwhile listening into. And then, of course, Brownlee is having another session on emerging trends in municipal law seminar. One's in Calgary, one's in Edmonton. That's on February 15th. I'll probably attend the one in Edmonton. But I'm sure everybody else got this. They've been pretty informative. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Clark.
Couple things. One, forwarded on, I guess, a request from PCCS regarding the Family Violence Prevention Month / Purple Lights Night. I think it's a great initiative, just kind of highlights, November being the Family Violence Prevention Month. So we're looking for a bit of help from council and the town on that. So I think it's great. And I think we've left it with administration to kind of take a look at. The other thing, attended the ECDC board meeting yesterday. We have a brand new person on board, Chai Middleton. She's looking pretty good and looking to contribute to that board. Couple of things we talked about, really quickly, some stats. There are 80 children currently on the wait list. There's 82 enrolled, 25 part-time, 57 full-time. And we are currently sitting exactly at 50-50 town and county, so 41 and 41. Couple of things as well. There are 58 children / families that are accessing the affordability and subsidy grants, and that's up 21% from September. So just kind of speaks to, I guess, the help that's out there and people are availing of it. Yeah, and as Lola kind of mentioned, there was another $10,000 thrown on the table by Vermilion to, I guess, get them to about $30,000 on the year in terms of donations. So great partner there. And one last thing, National Child Day, November 20th. They're going to do some things around that. And I believe they're also going to ask for a proclamation as well. So, so the theme is right to access, and that's just you know, anybody and everybody, whether they're physically challenged or race, age, whatever, those sorts of things. So great thing. And they also want to do some readings both in the AM and the PM at the ECDC. So they're going to be asking for some council support on that as well. So, and then one last thing, kind of a neat little factoid. There is 5 different languages represented on staff. So, so people accessing our programs there, you know, if they're from different nations, they can communicate effectively. That includes Ukrainian and many others. So great thing we have on staff there.
ACDC. Yeah, that's fantastic. Vermilion's, fantastic too at the money that they give to support our nutrition program and our childcare. It's great to hear. Councillor Sheriff, you are up next.
Council Ballas has his microphone on, so I'm not sure.
Sorry.
Forget something?
Okay, so like Bill mentioned, we zoomed in for the David Thompson Health Advisory meeting. So I did take notes because so just a quick rundown. So they talked about the immunization across the lifespan, starting from, you know, a few days old to ongoing, the importance of those. They did talk about this year's COVID risks and variant and vaccines and such. They mentioned that DynaLife will be transitioning back to Alberta Precision Life. It should start by Christmas. Their priorities now are EMS response time to rural communities, focus on that quite a bit, and doing a waitlist cleanup. So checking, I guess there's a long waitlist for surgeries. So what they're doing is they're finding out that some of the people that have been on a waitlist went somewhere else and got a procedure done, yet they're still on a waitlist. So they're trying to do the cleanup to make sure that they haven't been done. Then we did the Crow Services meeting, and that same day, that was on the 11th, I had a Zoom meeting with the Western Central Airship Society, and they're still looking for board membership from our town. I guess we will be getting an invoice to see how much the membership will cost and explanations and stuff. So I'm waiting on that email. Had the Drain Valley Hospitality and Tourism meeting, and we have 2 new members. I'm not going to try to pronounce their names. I'll just leave it at that. FCSS meeting, we kind of redid the strategic plan. Then we had the mayor's gala. We had the joint council meeting with Brazil, and there was a lot of good conversations. Actually quite happy where most of it went. And then we have chamber awards tonight. That's it for me.
Thank you very much for that. Councillor McGee.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. First, I think I'd mention the Mayor's Gala. It was a tremendous affair, a function that was put on by our staff and by local, caterers, by the beautiful setting that we were sitting in at the Mackenzie Center. It was transformed into quite a gala, and I thought it turned out really well. I would say that when you bring in your group of friends and they were cheering, and it was one of those events that you just go, it was the spirit of a community, and I have to mention that because it was full on and it was absolutely outstanding, wonderful. I could say the same thing about the joint council meeting, without the all list superlatives, but it was, as Councillor Sheriff said, I thought it was a very positive conversation, well beyond where I thought it might be at this point in time. So I'm pleased with the response. It feels like we're making headway. I think we're going to put 14 letters together or something under the guise of the county and the town, which I think is it's a huge step. And I just thought it was a great meeting. And as you know, there are a number of you going to the chamber, and I appreciate that. I'm going to be with 600 of my friends at the fire hall for free burgers.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Deputy Mayor Gabana.
Thank you. Yeah, as mentioned, the CEO interviews, and then on the 11th, I had the growth services meeting and Pembina Fish and Recruitment Retention Committee strategic planning session, as Councillor Bellis mentioned. It was a great session trying to figure out what we have, how to advocate for the healthcare needs in our community, and also planning out the vision and mission for the committee itself. 12th, Pembina area synergy meeting. I had to step away after a while. I believe Councillor Maggie, you stepped in after that. Did you? No. Okay. Kundi was there. Yeah, I've heard Kundi. Good job. Then Mayor's Gala, and on the 13th, joint council meeting. I agree with the comments. It was a very positive meeting. And we talked about advocacy that we can do together as a community. 17th, yesterday night, we had the Youth Advisory Committee meeting as well. Again, they are preparing the presentation to come to council, and hopefully before end of November, they'll come here and present to us regarding what they've been doing for the last year. Tonight, Chamber Awards, as Monica mentioned. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for your report. For me, chaired the Ad Hoc Economic Development Committee meeting, and that was fantastic. There's a couple projects, a very exciting project that came out of that discussion, and a grant in partnership with Weyerhaeuser, which we're excited to kind of get that moving forward. Agenda setting, the Mayor's Gala, of course, I want to thank everybody for their hard work. Bree, Pam, Hans for being such a great team player and in, what is the word I'm looking for? emceeing, thank you. Emceeing that. I know that he has, or had, was it the wedding already passed, or is it coming up this weekend? This weekend is a wedding, so I know he was trying to juggle both of those speeches and didn't want to make sure he didn't marry anybody at the gala and everything like that. So fantastic job to everybody, Alicia, for setting it up. And I know that there was a lot of planning and hard work and everything that went into that. So thank you very much for all of that. It was fantastic. It was a great evening and a chance to recognize the past mayors and the service and the time that they've given to our community, and all of our community builders and businesses and volunteers and everybody that really, makes Drayton Valley the place that it is. Our firefighters that, big thank you to all of you for, again, saving our community and coming, and just seeing our administration there. And yeah, it was a great night. And then, of course, we wrapped it up the next day with the joint council meeting, which was very positive. Lots came out of it. Great conversation, which was really nice to see that intermunicipal cooperation is kind of growing strong. I think, we reflect back to the wildfires, and, I think that it's brought us closer when you go through something like that together. You forget about all that nonsense on the side and you kind of push forward. So it was a really good meeting. Excited for the next one, and the letters to go out and the advocacy that we have to do and where we need to push the provincial government. I think that there's lots of pushes that need to happen. So very exciting there. I do want to apologize to the fire department. I'm unable to attend the open house. I know I said I would. I told Carla I'd be coming down for a hamburger, but I forgot that we do have the Chamber Awards this evening, and I already did commit. So if time allows and they get wrapped up early, we'll rush over there for maybe if you have any hamburgers left. But thank you for putting that on and celebrating as well tonight for that. And that is it for me for my report. And I'll be looking now for a council member to make a motion to accept both the department reports and the council reports as information. Councillor Gomana, thank you very much for that. Are there any council initiated items or roundtable discussions? Councillor Ballas.
Thank you. Just some past things that I want to get clarity on, and one is from the Free Press. And I'm not sure if she's asking for $25,000 from each.
No, it's from all three to divide it up. It's 25,000 a year.
Yeah, a three. I mean, she's asking for what she can get, but ideally it's 75,000 for
3 years.
For 3 years from each. Like, that's what it costs to run. So
it would be divided up between three.
Well, that's what I initially understood. Then I'm reading some emails, and that it doesn't really state that clearly, that it's,
And she's going to work with Kundi to get an official request in for budget discussions as well. So hopefully that will bring you some clarity. But the way I'm interpreting it is that she's asking for $25,000 a year split between.
so if it was the DVHTA and county and us, it'd be $8,500 or roughly.
A year
per-
for 3 years.
a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Thank you. Secondly, I still see that we're spending a lot of money at Amazon.
On what, sorry?
Amazon,
Yeah. A lot of our supplies come from Amazon.
is there a reason for that?
Cost, convenience, in a lot of cases, items that, not all cases, but some cases, items that aren't available in town. So we would have either been making city trips or ordering and getting them shipped through Canada Post or another service before, whereas now it's all consolidated to Amazon. So it looks like it looks more than, yeah, than what it, like, not all those items, most of those items would not be available locally.
It just seems that we're spending a lot of money and we were getting it somewhere else before, and Amazon don't give back to our community.
Maybe we should ask them to.
Good luck.
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
just,
know it's convenient.
yeah, and it's more, it's convenience, but also the cost savings as well. So it's a combination, but I can go back and look at some bills and kind of give a more detailed report as to how much we are spending at Amazon that we could get locally and how much we can't get locally anyways. And we simply would have bought from the city via like having someone go and get stuff or getting delivered. So I can get a more detailed
I
breakdown for
can
you.
understand if it's something that we can't get
Yeah.
locally. But if it's something that we can get locally, like paper products from, I think, Inkpot is now Staples, you know, then that's the people we should be supporting. Thirdly,
Go ahead.
dear Mayor Dodds, you got a letter from the Métis colony?
Yeah, I know. I seen those as they're coming. There's information here, but I think they're asks.
Yeah, are we gonna discuss that, or
Yeah, that's coming up next here.
you got that?
Yeah, we all got it here. It comes as information, but I think they should have been not information. Both of them have an ask.
So how are we gonna handle this?
So this one, as we, the members of Métis Local 888 of Drayton Valley, gear up to celebrate Métis Week from November 12th to 18th, we hope that you would join us in paying tribute to the Right Honorable Louis Riel. We recognize November 18th as the anniversary of his execution and would like to be able to commemorate the day with raising of the Métis flag at the Civic Center. We can provide a flag for the occasion along with members of the Métis Local 888 to attend a flag raising ceremony. Discussion. Do we want to add it to our GMP meeting, next GMP meeting?
November 18th, it's coming up quick.
It's coming up quick, a month. We have a month. Yeah, actually, I thought it was an information. I didn't know there was an ask, right? I noticed that now while I was looking at both of these letters, there's an ask.
Do we want to have a discussion now, or
Sure.
let's do it?
Yep.
Like, personally, I see nothing wrong with it. I would certainly support it. I think it's part of reconciliation and so on. We're going forward. I think we have a good understanding and with the association throughout our area. I think this would be just a continuance of that relationship. Now, I don't know how long they want it there for, or if we have an extra flagpole or what, but
I'm guessing that it would be for permanent.
maybe we can get some clarity on that.
Yeah, maybe before we make a decision, yeah, because yeah, is it for the day, are we just commemorating, or are they wanting to put? Yeah,
Yeah, it might be a week or.
yeah. Could we get a little bit of clarity on that and then we can,
Yeah, I will reach out to them. I think it likely is for that week, but I will get clarity on it.
okay. Any other questions, Monica?
Okay, when we say for that week, because the first sentence is celebrating Métis Week from November 12th till 18th. But they would like to raise the flag on the 18th. That would be the end of that week. So maybe a little bit of clarity if they want to do it on the 12th till 18th, or if they want to put it up on the 18th for the following.
I think because it's the anniversary.
But the Métis Week is from 12th till 18th, so that would be the last day of the Métis Week. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it says we recognize as the anniversary of his execution, would like to be able to commemorate the day with the raising of the flag. So to me, that reads day, but let's clarify, right? I see nothing wrong with this. Or
Yeah, I think we've got some nods, but let's just get some clarity on everything before we commit to that. And then do you want to flip over and talk about the next?
The Eagle Points.
The Eagle Points is a budget, yeah.
Yeah, so I
So
think we're.
I've added it
just a
to,
budget.
yeah, I have a whole list of budgets that have been coming and asking, so I've added it to the list of budget. I think that it, I don't know, they're both here as information, and I don't know if they should be here as information. So.
I
do
don't
we
think
need-
that they,
Do we need a motion, or do we need something to move them out of this information, or?
no, if it's a request, then you would just send it to me as a request and I'll add it to the list of things to consider for budget.
Okay.
Whether it's fine to have it as a part of the information. It can be both.
Okay, so maybe if a member of council wants to make a motion to accept these as information and then direct administration to include these in future budget decisions and get clarity on. So Baus, would you like to make that motion? So moved. Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on that motion? No, the motion is, because we have an information item, so typically I would just ask for a motion to accept them as information, but because there is an action with it, Councillor Ballas has made the motion, and I'm saying, is there any comment, question, debate on the motion? Monica, did you have something to add? No? Okay, then I'll ask all in favor. Okay, that is carried. And that was it for your council roundtable. Bill, anybody else have anything else? Councillor Clark?
two things, just I guess an FYI for council, I'm working with MLA Wojchenko's office to try and get both Minister Turton here to visit the ECDC and or have a chat about early childcare, as well as Minister Nixon to come and visit the shelter pods and day warming center. So.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. And that wraps up mostly everything on our agenda. We will circle back around to our last decision item, which is a closed session. So I'm needing a member of council to move us into closed under FOIP section 24(1)A, FOIP section 24(1) and 25(1)C3. Councillor Ballas, are you making that motion? Sure. All in favor? That is carried at 11:32. At 1:29, Bill moved to start a closed. And we have two motions. One of the motions is from an earlier motion that we made this morning in regards to our community grant allocations for the fourth quarter. We just received notice from one of the administrative staff at Brazeau County that Mia Denesiak's grant amount was already covered by Brazeau County. Therefore, we're needing to make an amendment to resolution number 230, 2023. Is there a member of council that would like to make that motion? You have it in front of you. Councillor Clark? Yeah.
I will move that council ratify the memorandum.
No, no, this one. Sorry.
Okay, yep, no, I got that one here too. I move to amend resolution number 230/2023 that was passed this morning by striking Mia Denesiak's grant amount of $700 and splitting it equally amongst Kylie and Kinley Adamkowski.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? None, then I'll ask all in favor. That is carried, and we're needing another motion which came out of our closed agenda in regards to, I do not even have my front page of that, in regards to our HR ratification of memorandum of agreement between the town of Drayton Valley and the Canadian Union of Pacific Employees Local 2515. Is there a member of council that would like to make a motion? Councillor Clark?
Do that as well. I will move that council ratifies the memorandum of agreement dated September 20th, 2023 between the Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE, Local 2515, and the town of Drayton Valley.
Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on the motion? Councillor
Only one
Reid?
thing, it takes a long time to get to this, this part of ratification. And we understand that the union is ratified or can certainly at the point of ratification. And so I would say congratulations to our negotiators and thanks for getting us to here. Amen.
Wow, amen. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, it's not always easy going back and forth. And I know that these are challenging times with rising costs of inflation and just everything that's happening. So seeing something like this, we want to, I guess, ensure that we are aligning with other municipalities and what those terms look like as well. And we also had conversations in regards to our union staff versus non-union staff, and those further conversations will happen a little bit more towards our budget conversations, our decisions as well. So with that, there is a motion in place, and if there's no further debate or comments, then I'll ask all in favor. And that is carried. And we will adjourn our meeting at 1:42 p.m. And that is it for our regular council. And we will now move into our organizational meeting at 1:42. I'll call the meeting to order. And is there a member of council that would like to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Sheriff, thank you very much. All in favor? That is carried. And we'll jump right into decision items. Council committee appointments is the first on the agenda, pages 2 to 6. Some of you have given me your suggestions. Just going to try to pull up some of this on my computer here as I saved it. As I pull it up, I noticed that there was a lot of empty, I think, still vacant committees that we still needed to talk about. With that, I would ask that councillors consider that, when we are elected, that we're elected for the whole of the community, that we should have a round portfolio of all the committees and be alternating between all the committees on your 4-year term, getting to know kind of each and every one of them. And I think it just helps us better when we're trying to make those decisions when it comes to budgets and things like that. So maybe if you haven't sat on a committee before, if you want to maybe put your name down to one of those empty spots. So I think what we'll do is we'll just kick it off and go right down the list and put in the names. I also do have the list here of who sat on our previous ones as well. So starting off, Brazeau Foundation, Monica did put her name down and showed some interest here for this committee. Was everybody with that? Tom, you're usually been sitting on that one for a while. Monica is challenging you.
Chair of the board, which in the interest of your opening comments, throughout the organization, say that's fair. Or we get to know that. So
You want to stay?
we start there. We're all
Yeah, then we're going sideways. Okay, so Monica is going to take on the Brazeau Foundation. We do have, I don't think you have a council alternate that was in their mandate. They don't have one, so we don't have an alternate for that. So Monica will go Brazeau Foundation. Drayton Valley and District Chamber of Commerce. Monica showed interest in this as well. Yep. And what about a council alternate there? Who would like to? You want to be the alternate? Okay, sure. So Amila, we'll put you down for that one there.
You go as a chamber member anyway, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
So how does that work though then if you, can you wear both of those or it doesn't matter? Yeah. Okay.
I sent out a little note about bundling. And bundling meaning that if you're in the helping area, then just try to stay within the helping area, that kind of a thing, and recreation, that kind of thing. But I think a few people commented, I don't know if others are even interested in that I think it's kind of interesting because if it's humans helping humans, it's obvious warming hearts would be a thing. Those to me are like that, right? So
Mhm. Or like chamber, maybe you're gonna go on economic development or something, right? That kind of ties in or something. Yeah.
DVHCA, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, consider it kind of as we move forward, kind of go along. Okay, so we have Monica for the chamber, Amela as the alternate, Drayton Valley Community Foundation. There was a request from Bill here. No one else is interested? What about for an alternate, council alternate there? Monica? Colin was on it, yeah. Okay, Drayton Valley Hospitality and Tourism, we have an admin rep there, so we don't have someone from council? We do. Okay, so who goes as admin? Nobody? Yeah, but it says admin rep, so I'm just wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, who? Oh, no? So is it a requirement in their terms of reference or?
So from what I understand, I've been on it for 2 years, and ever since TVHTA started, I've made more meetings in the 2 years than any past council combined in the last 10. And it's a really good committee.
Wow,
I'll stay on it if nobody wants to take it.
wow,
Because, yeah, go ahead, Bill.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
important for us to be on it.
Okay, so I do have Bill and Amela, so who wants to be the alternate, who wants to be the regular? You guys figure that out. Okay, so we're gonna, yeah, you, Bill, that's a good one. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna put Bill as the council and then we'll put Amila as the alternate. And then as we jump to the library board, we're gonna put Amila as the regular and Bill as the alternate. Is that what you guys just said? Okay, Tom. Tom? No, Rick, I did reach out to Rick and Rick wants to keep his load light. Rick's request is to stay on sustainability and then another internal committee. So that's where I said we would put him. And then if Rick comes back and after a few weeks, if a counselor's finding their load is too much or you guys want to talk with Rick, you guys can do that. So we'll just have him there. An alternate, Monica, you did say if nobody else could take it, do you want to be an alternate there? Okay. Monica, EPBR, scrolling down. Why did I think you did this, Colin? No, you didn't? Okay, Monica's been on it for 2 years. Who hasn't sat on that or who? Tom, I think you sat on it. Monica sat on it. You've sat on it? You've sat on it? Really? Oh, are you? Okay. Colin? Do you want to sit on it? He doesn't look very excited. Okay, Colin, and as an alternate? Let's put Rick as an alternate. That's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, we'll put Rick as an alternate. FCSS, Monica. Okay, Monica. Alternate, who hasn't been? You just sat on it, so Miller or Bill? Or you were just on it? Bill? Oh, you want to take the alternate? Okay, Tom? Okay, perfect. HCC, Healthy Communities Coalition. You're on it? Tom, you want to take that? Okay, alternate? You want to, okay, Colin will be alternate there. This is awesome, guys. Thanks. You're just breezing through this. Okay, so Tom will be council and Colin will be alternate. That was on HCC, yeah, right? Okay, NSWA. I think that's Monica and Rick or Tom. So leave Rick. He said he wanted to keep it light. You don't think they meet? Okay, I'll put his name on it. And then if he's unable, then we'll put somebody else. Oh. So who would we put as admin? Okay, so we'll put Doug as a. Well. Okay, we'll put Kundi. Okay, you can talk it over yet. Sorry, what? Yeah. I would say no, because you move yourself from our conversations usually for pecuniary interest when we have them. So I would think not, right? Okay, okay. Okay, so Pembina Energy, Pembina Area Synergy, that is typically what we decided would be the deputy mayor. So okay, so deputy, that's Colin. And then the alternative, I guess. What did we do for alternative here? I guess I can, it doesn't say.
Deputy mayor.
Okay. Whoever's next up for deputy or something then. Okay. Okay, Pembina physician recruitment, I have Colin down for that one. Okay, and then as an alternate. Okay, so you're going as an alternate, okay?
So we have three
Why, we don't have three, do we? Oh, are you, oh, because you're a member at large. Oh. And you're the treasurer. Oh, and who's up? Yeah, I thought there was a whole bunch of people that walked away from that committee. Pat's leaving, Suni's leaving.
No, I haven't. Would it make sense in your opening session with the new council? One of you says it's okay, you could be treasurer. Three of us going to be, seems a little.
Or I'm not going to be representing council, he's not representing council, we're members.
You could change that, you're good at that. You're good at changing that.
Yeah, I don't know typically, I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes you do. Yeah. The only thing it's recommended to maybe not be the chair typically as a council member, but you're going as a member of large.
I'll take the IRL.
Okay, you're gonna take the. Oh yeah, because you're on the library. So Yellowhead, regional. Alternate, we'll probably put Monica because you're on both. That way it's on the same. Humans helping humans. Amela, do you want? Do you want to do humans helping humans? Tom and Monica. So human helping humans, Amela, alternate there. Who hasn't done that? Bill, do you want to be the alternate there? Okay. And then you want to do health, Drayton Valley Community Health Foundation? Amila? Okay, so Amila, Drayton Valley Community Health Foundation. Colin, do you want to be the alternate? And then Colin, ECDC? Okay, Colin, ECDC. Alternate. Bill, do you want to be the alternate? Okay, Bill, alternate. Youth Advisory Committee. Okay, alternate. Monica? Okay, Monica, yeah. Okay, so is that it? The only thing is, why do I feel like we're missing a couple? So Monica had brought up, I guess we're gonna need a request from Western. Okay, so they're gonna send a letter for a counselor. And why did I think there was another committee? I guess there's the homeless poverty reduction. What do you think? Well, that's this one. That's the homeless.
We dissolved the actual homelessness and poverty reduction committee. And we were just going with the forum. So I was chairing the forum, but it wasn't like you had to sign up as a member or anything like that. We were just putting it on, once every couple of months, and everybody would go and chat and take away some information, and that's about it. So if somebody wants to take that on, please have at her. No.
Yeah, but well, the homeless and poverty reduction isn't, but the subcommittee that Colin created with all, like you were talking about it earlier, saying you bring all these people together. Do we feel that that should continue even quarterly, or that council should be leading that, or what? Oh, there is all that already.
Yeah, it wasn't a formal, like, terms of reference, all that stuff. It was just more of a, let's get together and talk, period, right? In an effort to just drive some information.
That's what I was gonna ask them.
So
That's what they said, but.
Humans Helping Humans was Amila and Bill, yeah.
So what I suggest is that, yes, it's important piece, but I think we need to have a discussion in terms of reference and see where the vision is, and then we can appoint members to that, right? Rather than trying to figure out who's going to sit now.
Okay, so we can either add it to strat planning or like a GNP type of meeting to talk about then.
Right.
Okay, and then Western Airshed Alliance will receive a letter, and I still think there was another committee. There was a request somewhere along the line that we had a delegation come in. Yeah, maybe it'll come to me. I was just thinking there was somebody else that had requested. Like, and a committee that came to us and said they wanted a representative from town. And who was it? Yeah. We all have really good memories, so that's a good question, Pam. Oh, okay, maybe was it the museum? Okay, so you think it was the Historical Society? I don't have it wrote down. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll put that on our, let's talk about list. What, Airshed, letter, historical, and then homeless forum. And then also, Oh, yeah, is Opportunity Home, does somebody sit on, Colin? Or do you just know? Yeah, ask, yeah, because maybe I thought they requested Opportunity Home, but I thought there was somebody from the Health Foundation, or there was something else, remember? There was that ask and we never received a letter, or we add it? I don't know, there's somebody else. Okay, well, if somebody thinks of it in the next near future, then we'll add it. Okay, so that's it. We've gone through council committee appointments. Everybody's good. Does everybody feel like they have? I think we have good representation there, which is good. Okay, so we'll move to internal committees. Again, I would encourage, let's mix it up, move around. Yeah. Well, maybe I was thinking. Well, we're not there yet. I'm just going there now. Yeah, so if you flip over your sheet or go to the next page, we'll talk about our internal committees. So the first one, policing, security, fire, was Amila and Monica. I think it was Bill. Was it Bill who asked to be on this one? We need one more counselor. You just, for policing, yeah. Colin? Okay, so Bill and Colin there. Sustainability, Rick did ask, and I know I said to switch around, but Rick is not here, so. Yeah. He likes driving the boat and. Yeah, so who else would like to sit on that? Okay, you already sat on it? Okay, I'm gonna leave it blank and then we'll circle back and come around. Recreation Board, I have 4 names and Colin, Monica, Bill, and Rick all on here. Yeah, I have 4 names for the Recreation Board. Who sat on the Recreation before? So this Recreation Board, is this internal? This is not the joint. Oh, okay. So this committee has never met?
It's the one meeting.
But that was the. But are you talking joint or internal? Okay, so I'll put Colin and Bill. Recreation, okay. Economic Development, Colin and Bill were there. Okay, Monica. Amila, okay, Monica Amila. Education Committee, who hasn't sat on it? I think it's good to see a couple new counselors for sure. Did you, Monica, Tom? So where's Rick? Rick's just sustainability. Somebody has to sit with Rick on sustainability going back. Amela? You're on economic development. Okay, so that is that. And then I guess county council is going to talk about the joint. Yeah, they're going to talk about those two, right?
I think they'll go.
Well, I asked for fresh, and that's what Kara said that Anthony would probably request, and I said it would be nice if we could have, we both have new counselors. It would be nice if we could have some new ideas. Typically, you wouldn't have a counselor on that. Like, that's not typically a board. It's more stakeholders, it's residents and stuff. We're the ones that agree and approve the policy. That's what our role is. So when they're having the stakeholder meetings, when they're having the engagement, it's good for counselors to go. So if they go to the MCC, it's good for us to go down and be talking to the residents. That's kind of our engagement. It wouldn't be our role to be it's an administrative task. Typically, you wouldn't have a counselor on it. That's our role is to approve policy once that's created with the NDP or MDP. NDP, MDP, it's MDP. Very, very clear. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe let's see. Yeah. I mean, I guess, can come out of my Central Alberta Mayors and Reeves and Northern, even though this Mayor Sohi is not called a Northern Alberta Mayors. The Central Alberta Mayors, I do not attend because it's always on our council days. It seems to be, so I've missed every single one of those, and there's not been a call of a West Central. It's really disappointing because I know when Michael was mayor, I got to attend the Northern Alberta Mayors and Reeves, which was very informative, but it's up to Mayor Sohi to call, and he has not called since I've been, yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, maybe I should write a letter. Maybe can we write one more letter? And just say maybe we'd get Brazeau County to second that letter with us? Because I know I talked to Bart about it too, and Bart said, yeah, no. And they used to be like, and that was the thing, it was really good, like, so very interesting. Okay, so that wraps it up for our committees, and then we are moving into the second. I don't know, do I need a motion? Or, yeah? Okay, Bill, would you like to make a motion? To both external and internal, would you like to make that? Thank you very much for that. Any comment, question, debate on that? Then I'll ask all in favor. That is carried. Pam, you've got everybody in the right spots. Okay, perfect. Next, we have a 2024 proposed council calendar for the coming year.
Yeah, that's just keeping everything status quo and
Just the
nothing
way
to
it
say
is.
we can't change it, but we just have to publicize one for the upcoming year. And then if we end up changing any structure, then we just update it at that time.
Okay. Moved right into it. Okay. Any discussion on that? Questions? Do we want to talk about that now, or do we want to talk about it? Yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of think we should have one inserted at least once a month or do something. There's been a lot, and I know like the conversation is just seems like we pack so much into that day. There's such long days, and then we could talk again for another 5 hours. Where if we had that GNP, we could get some of that conversation out of the way, right? So I don't know how we would do it. Does anyone remember how we used to? Is that what we did? GMP council, GMP council? So every week we'd have.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Or I think we had 3 a month. Wasn't there 3
Perhaps we had
Wednesdays
3
a
a
month
month.
and we'd miss one Wednesday? I think that's what it was. And administration, is that
That's
a
right.
bigger, heavier workload, or is it just you're bringing the same stuff and having that discussion?
I will say it's a little bit more work, but I think it's still, I think the decisions are easier. Like the days aren't as long necessarily. The only part that's a little bit more work is then when you come with something forward, then you have to decide, is it coming to GMP first or to council, or is it coming to GMP, or is it only coming to one or to both? So a lot of times there's items that come to both. So there's a little bit more work, but I wouldn't say so much more that it's a really significant part of this conversation.
I think for us, all the question was, is how much of that conversation is being held in the public? So that report would come
Correct.
to GNP, we would talk, we have a lot of the conversation, but I guess we have to remember that GNPs are now held in here and they are open to the public. They're not recorded though, right? That's the only thing. They were never recorded.
They weren't recorded. Yes. I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah, and they've always been, even when we had them in the back room, yeah, we were open. We take minutes, we just don't record. So
Correct.
I guess if residents are saying, they're missing part of the debate, they're not, because then they're more than welcome to come, and we can make sure Colin's mom is well aware that we're having the GMPs and stuff. It's the main person. I would want her to stand up one day and be like, opposed, I want to speak. Yeah.
I believe there was a policy. Yeah, I believe there was a council meeting policy. So I'll dig it up and get it ready for you guys. Does that work? Or do you want me to bring it forward for next meeting to change it? I can do either. I'm comfortable with doing that as well.
Okay, bringing this forward to the next meeting?
Just the calendar for GMPs, to adding it back.
I think so. What's everyone? I'm getting some nods. Yeah. You've got Billamillamy. That's like a one word, Billamillamy. Solid. You can make motions. Well, it's in our procedural, and that's where we have to look at our procedural bylaw, because that's where it is. Under the MGA, you can have your governance and priorities, or you could have, like what they say, committees of the whole. And it's where you have the discussions before, I guess, yeah, because then the motions are taken to the council. I can't remember what's in our procedural.
This is the
But
whole thing.
we don't want to have multiple motions like we were doing. You did a motion on a motion on a motion, and that was just like,
Yeah, so it began, I believe, if I remember correctly, and I was only here partway
you
into
sent
that,
me
but
that.
we were making, so it was just discussion. And then we started making some motions, and then all of a sudden we were making the same amount of motions in GP,
Yes.
and there was no difference between the two. So I agree, just looking at what our own procedural like bylaw or procedure is, just to make sure that we're having the discussions and then the decisions are still in the council, because it helps us a lot when we're looking for motions. If we're just looking at council meeting, because going back 10 years and trying to see like which meeting and stuff is hard. So I think that we have to keep that that would be my recommendation, is to make sure that you can make a motion if there's a time thing, but like a timely matter, but try to make most of the motions in council, but would be my recommendation. Yeah, so most of the motions were to direct administration to bring this to council. So you talk, be like, okay, I think we agree on this. We'll get administration to bring it to council for a decision.
So I think like the function of the GNP would be to allow for discussions in an informal manner of significant or complex terms, including but not limited to matters that may require a substantial amount of time to analyze and consider in order to bring recommendations to council for final consideration and decision. I think that if that's not on our procedural, that we should have that in there. But then I don't know, I just typed in my inbox, and it come up from another municipality. It was in my email, and I think it got sent from the Central Mayors and Reeves. So maybe I can even forward this to you guys. It's in there. So I don't know, do we have a procedural bylaw for just our council, or is it for council and GMP? It doesn't. Okay, so maybe this is a committee of the whole, and it says, maybe I can forward this to you, and then we can include it in there in the procedural. Okay, Okay, so we won't make a motion. Do you need a motion? I guess, do we need a motion now for the proposed council calendar? Oh, I still have to sign it too. Tom?
I would make a motion that we accept the council calendar for the year as presented.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Because as part of the organizational meeting, we have to have a calendar. So what we'll just do is amend it when we've amended the procedural bylaw.
Oh, okay, so, okay, gotcha. And then we'll bring it back for an amendment. Okay, so a motion is to accept it. Okay, any comment, question, debate on the motion? Then I'll ask all in favor. And that is carried. And we will adjourn our organizational meeting, wow, at 2:16 PM. I have to just say thank you. Wow, that was just a breeze through.